Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Most High in Christ bless you. Happy Sabbath, brothers and sisters. Happy Sabbath.
Sabbath.
Yes. How many of y'all went to the quest? Y'all enjoyed yourselves? All praises, man. Glad to see some of you brothers that was able to make it, put your brick in, do this work. Today, we're going to go over something that I did not want to go over because I said I wasn't, but the Spirit led me there. It is what it is. You know, you can't kick against the pricks. Today, we're going to go over IFO Part 2. Okay, I did a Part 1. Today, we're going to conclude it, Lord's will, with Part 2. All right, the Chariots of God or black. All right. What you're going to find out is that there's no new thing under the sun. Let's start with that scripture first, please. Who's reading for me?
Officer Hezekiah.
All right, Officer Hezekiah. Nice and loud.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go with the book of Ecclesiastes. You know what I want. No new thing under the sun. All right. So, yeah, I've been watching social media, see what's going on, especially last year. There's been an abundance of sightings everywhere. All right, not only in America, but throughout. All right, and this is not something that's new. It's been going on for a long time. And what we're going to do is we're going to go with a timeline, starting from Egypt all the way up until now. All right? You got it, Hezekiah?
Yes, sir. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be.
So everything that's been here now has been here before. That's what the Bible's saying. Go ahead.
And that which is done is that which shall be done.
That which is done is that which shall be done. Just like we was delivered out of where? Egypt. Guess what? The same thing is going to happen again. Okay? God said that our deliverance from America is going to be greater than Egypt. And that's something that each one of us should believe. Faith. That's why we got to work on our faith. Okay? Go ahead.
And there is no new thing under the sun.
There is no what?
New thing under the sun.
There is no new thing under the sun. Okay? So all of these sightings going on throughout America got everybody in a, how do you call it, a pandemonium and going crazy and, this was a paranormal experience. This is some great phenomena. What is it? Guess what? It's been here ever since the Most High created the planet Earth, ever since human beings walked the planet Earth, all right? These chariots back and forth. So we're going to start with a timeline, and we're going to work our way up. Let's get Luke chapter 8, verse 17 before we start that. I want the book of Luke chapter 8, verse 17.
The book of Luke chapter 8, verse 17. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest.
So the Most High said, nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest. And we're going to go over some of those secrets as we go in. Lord's will, y'all seen part 1. If you haven't seen part 1, you're going to be lost. Okay? That class has been out for a couple of months now. When you get a chance, go check it out on the IUIC Dallas YouTube page. IFOs, not UFOs, the Chariots of God are black, part 1. This is part 2. So hopefully this won't go over your head. But read that again.
Verse 17. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest.
Come on.
Neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
So God is going to reveal his secrets unto us. And he has revealed his secrets unto us. That's why we have those great classes coming out of the bishop. Revelation, the 9th chapter, Revelation 13. These are things that was hidden from us. But now we're getting the full understanding. You don't got to go to Google and use Esau's commentary because there's no spirit in him. That's why he won't even tell you where is America in the Bible. Some of y'all bring that foolishness in here. Stop depending on Google for answers. You can't even Google who are the Negroes in America. Okay? They're not even going to give you the answers to that. All right? The Bible's a spiritual thing. You start to keep the commandments applied, the Most High is going to open your eyes. All right? To the different things, to the different secrets that he has revealed in this book. So the chariots of God have always maintained a presence on this earth. The glory of the Lord never departed from his chosen, due to his covenant that he made with our forefather Abraham. As long as the stars are in heaven, the Israelites will always be the apple of God's eyes. Okay, that's what I wrote down. Now let's go to Egypt, Exodus, the 5th chapter. All right. The chariots of God were always present during our captivities. Even when we weren't in captivities, the chariots of God were always there, making themselves known amongst men, even making themselves known amongst the heathen. Let's start with Exodus chapter 5, and we're going to read 6 through 18. When you read this, when you read the Bible, brothers, you want to pick up on certain words. Okay? Exodus chapter 5, let's start at verse 6.
The book of Exodus, chapter 5, verse 6. And Pharaoh commanded the same day the taskmasters of the people and their officers, saying, Ye shall no more give the people straw to make brick, and heretofore let them go and gather straw for themselves.
So the Pharaoh made our lives extremely bitter in bondage. Go ahead.
And the tale of the bricks which they did make heretofore, ye shall lay upon them. Ye shall not diminish them. Ye shall not diminish aught thereof. For they be idle. Therefore they cry, saying, Let us go and sacrifice to our God. Let their more work be laid upon the men, that they may labor therein. And let them not regard vain words.
Come on.
And the taskmasters of the people went out, and their officers, and they spake to the people, saying, Thus saith Pharaoh, I will not give you straw.
Come on.
Go ye, get you straw where ye can find it.
Go ahead.
Ye not aught of your work shall be diminished. So the people were scattered abroad throughout all the land of Egypt to gather stubble instead of straw. And the taskmasters hasted them, saying, Fulfill your works, your daily tasks, as when there was straw. And the officers of the children of Israel, which Pharaoh's taskmasters had set over them, were beaten and demanded.
So many of these taskmasters, brothers, were our own flesh and brother, our own Israelite brothers. Go ahead.
Wherefore have ye not fulfilled your task in making brick, both yesterday and today, and heretofore? Verse 15, Then the officers of the children of Israel came and cried unto Pharaoh, saying, Wherefore dealest thou thus with thy servants? There is no straw given unto thy servants. And they say to us, Make brick, and behold, thy servants are beaten. But the fault is in thine own people.
Come on.
Verse 17, But he said, Ye are idle. Ye are idle.
Go ahead.
Therefore ye say, Let us go and do sacrifice to the Lord.
Go ahead.
Go therefore now and work, for there shall no straw be given you, yet shall ye deliver the tale of bricks.
So right there, that shows you how hard and our lives was made in Egypt under Pharaoh. Anybody know what Pharaoh we served under? Who knows? Officer Zephaniah.
It was Tutmos the second.
No. Where is that in the Bible?
I mean, it was Ramsey the second.
Thank you. Tell you guys, stay away from Google. Google's going to trip y'all up. It was Ramses. All right? You read about Ramses in the scriptures. Remember, precept upon precept is how we get our what? Understanding. Okay? So, our lives was made bitter in bondage in Egypt. Did God forget us? No, because we read about, we hear about, we watch our deliverance out of Egypt in these different movies. Of course, they're all whitewashed. But people are still talking about the deliverance from Egypt until this very day, and we could read about it. Now let's get Exodus 13. Exodus 13. I want Exodus 13, verse 21 and 22.
The book of Exodus, chapter 13 and verse 21. And the Lord went...
Now this is what? This is when the Israelites were leaving Egypt under the great Exodus. We were departing Egypt. Okay, go ahead.
And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud.
So the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud. What is that cloud, brothers? And where's the precept, Officer Shema? What precept can I go to show me that these clouds are indeed chariots.
Shalom and leadership, Officer Zion.
Yes, sir.
Psalms chapter 104, verse 3.
Read it.
Who layeth the beams of
Who layeth the beams, come on.
of his chambers in the waters.
Uh-huh.
Who maketh the clouds.
The waters is talking about the waters above the earth. Go ahead.
Who maketh the clouds.
Who makes the clouds.
his-
Who makes the clouds, go ahead.
His chariot.
Who makes the clouds his chariots. Okay, when the Bible talks about clouds, it's talking about chariots. Read verse 21 again in Exodus.
The book of Exodus, chapter 13 and verse 21. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire.
So at nighttime, it was a pillar of fire, a pillar of fire. Where can we read about this pillar of fire? Where else? Give me a precept.
Leadership, Isaiah 66:15.
Yes, that's a good one. Let's read that. Let's read that. Isaiah 66, verse 15. This talks about the end time, how God is going to come back, how the chariots are going to appear when they come back. Read.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind.
See there? It's calling the chariots fire and whirlwind. Fire and whirlwind. Write that down so you know next time. Get me 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 15 to 17. Then we're going to go back to Exodus. So hold Exodus. Don't lose your spot. Go to 2 Kings 6, 15 to 17. Come on.
2 Kings chapter 6 and verse
15.
15. And when the servant of the man of God was risen early and gone forth, behold, an host compassed the city, both with horses and chariots.
Come on.
And his servant said unto him, Alas, my master, how shall we do? And he answered, Fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them.
That's why we're not supposed to have any fear, because we got the angels around us. We just can't see them. But it's all on faith. Our faith is in what's written in this Bible. Okay, go ahead. Come on.
And Elisha prayed and said, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see.
Open his spiritual eyes that he may see, because his eyes were already opened. It's talking about your spiritual eyes. Read.
And the Lord opened his eyes of the young man, and he saw. And behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire.
Horses and chariots of fire. That's what it's going right back to in Exodus. Go right back to Exodus chapter 13 and read 21 again. And you're going to read down to 22. Come on.
The book of Exodus, chapter 13, verse 21. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire.
Come on.
To give them light to go by day and night. Verse 22. He took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night from before the people.
So all praises to the Most High. The Most High had to show his glory before us to let the whole planet Earth, all of the Egyptians know that what? He was only dealing with Israel. And the same thing he's doing now. Trust me. We're going to show you that later on. All right. The Most High God is only dealing with the Israelites. You brothers and sisters have to believe that. You have to believe that. What else can we believe in? White man science, white man Jesus. We must believe that this is our Bible. Okay. And the angels are only dealing with us. We have to believe that thing. Okay. Get me Exodus 14. Exodus chapter 14, verse 19 to 20.
The book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 18. And
verse 19.
Pardon me, verse 19. And the angel of God, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them.
So this is the chariot. It went up and moved behind us. Come on.
And the pillar of the cloud went from before their face and stood behind them.
Read.
And it came between the camp of the Egyptians.
So it came between the camp of the dusty Egyptians. Come on.
and the camp of Israel.
And the camp of Israel, the apple of God's eyes. Read on.
And it was a cloud and darkness to them.
Come on.
But it gave light by night to these.
So you got to picture that thing. It was a cloud of darkness to the Egyptians on one side, but it gave light as fire to us on one side. That's majestic right there. That's beautiful what we're reading. Come on.
So that the one came not near the other all the night.
So the Most High did that thing so that they wouldn't attack us at nighttime. Why? Because they were fearful. All right? That struck fear into their eyes. Think about it. That was a phenomenon. That was a phenomenon what they were looking at. To see these things coming from out of the sky and it was only dealing with a particular people, that's a phenomenon. That's something that will frighten every single last person on this earth. I don't care who you are. I don't care what branch of military you served in, Navy SEAL, SEAL Team 6, Green Beret. You see something like that, unexplainable, and they're black on top of it? Hell no. That's going to strike fear into anybody's heart. All right? Was that verse 20?
Yes, sir.
Get me verse 24.
Verse 24. And it came to pass that in the morning, watch the Lord looked unto
And it came to pass that in the morning, remember, the book of Exodus, the first 5 books was written by whom? Remember, in I believe it's in Ezra, it says how he took Moses up on the mountain and held him for a long season and showed him things. So Moses is writing these things down, exactly how they occurred. That's what I said. When you read the Bible, there's certain words that you have to emphasis. You have to put emphasis on so you can get the full understanding of the scriptures. Read verse 24 again.
And it came to pass that in the morning watch, the Lord looked unto the host of the Egyptians.
So the Lord is in the chariot, the angel of the Lord. This is talking about. This is not talking about the God, the Almighty God, Yahweh. This is talking about his son. Okay? So the Lord looked, the angel of the Lord looked. They looked from the chariots down as if the chariots had windows. You got to picture that thing in your mind. Picture it in your mind. Go ahead, read it again, read it again.
Verse 24, and it came to pass that in the morning watch, the Lord looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians.
So he looked out of the pillar of the cloud. Think about that thing, man. With the clouds, the fire all around it, the Lord looked out of it. When I read this, I'm thinking like, damn, that thing sounded like it had windows or something. Okay, not glass, of course, like us, because that's carnal. But there must have been something there for Moses to write it down the way he did. And we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. Give me a second. It's coming. Okay, get me the archaeological artifacts from the Thule Papyrus, and also get me what I sent you that Sir William Petrie, the Egyptologist, found. Okay? So remember, our oppressors never recorded their defeats, especially by the hands of us. Okay, you got to really dig deep to find out certain things. Go down. So this is the Thule Papyrus. Right, let's get the translation. I don't need all that stuff. Let's start right there, right? This is just to show you that the other nations, they recorded sightings of the chariots, all right? Whether it was during our captivity or before. I just want to show you every nation has records of these so-called UFOs. All right, now we're going into Egypt, ancient Egypt. So it says in the year 22, 3rd month of winter, 6th hour of the day, the scribes of the house of life found it was a circle of fire that was coming in the sky. Though it had no head, the breath of its mouth had a foul odor. Its body 1 rod long, about 150 feet, and 1 rod large. It had no voice. They hearts, I don't know why it says that. It says they hearts become confused through it. That's talking about the Egyptians. Their hearts become confused through it. Then they laid themselves on the bellies. They went to the king to report it. His majesty ordered has been examined as to all which is written in the papyrus rolls of the house of life. His majesty was meditating upon what happened. Now, after some days had passed over these things, lo, they were more numerous than anything. They were shining in the sky more than the sun to the limits of the four supports of heaven. Powerful was the position of the fire circles. The army of the king looked on, and his majesty was in the midst of it. It was after supper thereupon. They, the fire circles, that's talking about the chariots. When you read the word fire circles, went up higher, directed to south. Fishes and volatiles fell down from the sky. It was a marvel, never occurred since the foundation of this land. Caused his majesty to be brought incense to pacify the hearth. What happened in the book of the house of life to be remembered for eternity. You could close that out. This is stuff that y'all should know. We go over it every Passover unless y'all asleep. Okay, so these are records of chariots in Egypt. Real records. This is not a myth. Take that down. Get me the next one. It should be right after that one. Okay, so this is in the museum in Jerusalem that the Rockefeller Foundation funded. These are artifacts that was taken out of tombs of many of the pharaohs, of one of the pharaohs. I want y'all to read Exodus again. I want you to read Exodus again, what you just read. Exodus chapter 14 and verse 24.
The book of Exodus, chapter 14 and verse 24. And it came to pass that in the morning watch of the Lord, and it came to pass that in the morning watch the Lord looked unto the host.
The Lord looked unto the host, come on,
of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud.
Come on.
And troubled the host of the Egyptians.
Look at that. Go down. These are real stones, real artifacts found. And them dusty white Hebrew Israelis, they have the records in their museums. All right, this was founded by an archaeologist named Sir William Petrie. So look at that. You see the chariots, the drawing? You see right there? Go to the right. Put the arrow on it. Look at that. Look at them little. That's how they designed it. That's how the Egyptians designed it. And they're almost describing exactly what we're reading. You see those little circles on the chariots? Those would be windows, right? It's windows to us. I don't know what is, of course, to the Heavenly Father. It's probably not called windows. I'm just giving you an example. Now, go to the left. You're going to see it on the side of I don't know what that thing is. I guess I don't know if that's a pharaoh or they're just describing what these beings look like to them. It's on the side of the stuff that they, the crown that they used to wear. You see it? Put it on it. Go down, right to your right. You're going to see it right there, all right? So it's magnified on the right side, okay? So those are artifacts of what they seen in Egypt, okay? Get me Isaiah 60 and verse 8. Isaiah 60 and verse 8.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 60 and verse 8. Who are these that fly as a cloud?
Who are these as fly as a cloud? What are the clouds again, Officer Shema? And scripture.
It's the chariots when you read the book of Psalms, chapter 104 and verse 3.
Very good. Read that again, Officer Hezekiah.
Verse 8. Who are these that fly as a cloud?
Who are these that fly as a cloud? Come on.
And as the doves to their windows.
And as the dove to their what?
Windows.
To their windows. No new thing under the sun. Okay? Most High secrets are being revealed right before our eyes. Okay? It's the same thing we're seeing on the screen. It's the same thing we read in Exodus chapter 14. All right? Drop that. You could take that off the screen. Leave that right there until I ask for the next stuff. Don't put it up yet. Okay, now let's go to Genesis, the 10th chapter. Genesis chapter 10. I want verse 11. Okay, we're going to talk about the Assyrian / Babylonian.
The
All right.
the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 11.
Mhm.
Out of that land went forth Asher and builded Nineveh.
So out of that land went forth Asher and builded what?
Nineveh.
And builded Nineveh. Nineveh was the capital of where? Brothers? Nineveh was the capital of Assyria, okay? Asher was the forefather of the Assyrian dynasty, okay? It says, out of that land, read it again.
Out of that land went forth Asher
Mhm.
and builded Nineveh,
Come on.
and the city Rehoboth
Uh-huh.
and Calah.
And builded the city Rehoboth and Calah. Get me 2 Kings. Give me 2 Kings 19, 11, and 12.
2 Kings chapter 19, verse 11. Behold, thou hast heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all lands by destroying them utterly.
So the kings of Assyria were strong kings, all right? We read about them in the scriptures, especially in the book of Kings, all right? The main one that we're going to go over is Ashurbanipal II. Ashurbanipal II. Read that again.
Behold, thou hast heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all lands
Mhm.
by destroying them utterly. And shalt thou be delivered?
Come on. Is that verse 12?
Verse 12. Have the gods of the nations delivered them which my fathers have destroyed, as Gozan and Haran and Rezeph and the children of Eden, which were in Thelazar.
All right, so these are the lands that the Assyrian kings were dominating because they were a dominating force on the earth. Give me Isaiah chapter 10. You're going to read 5 through 13.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 10 and verse 5. O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger,
Mhm.
and the staff in their hand is mine.
So you got to realize the Most High always used these nations as a whipping tool. That's why he's calling the Assyrians the rod of his anger. That's why another scripture calls the wicked what? The wicked is his sword. Who's the wicked? Esau. The Most High always used the other nations to get us in check, to do his bidding. Because he's not going to come out of the sky and do it. He's going to use men on earth to do it. The same way he's going to use us to what? Get this kingdom established on earth. All right, read that again.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 10 and verse 5. O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger, and the staff in their hand is mine indignation. I will send him against an hypocritical nation and against the people of my wrath.
Come on.
Will I give him a charge to take the spoil and to take the prey and to tread them down like the mire of the streets? Howbeit he meaneth not so, neither doth his heart think so. But it is in his heart to destroy and cut off nations, not a few. Verse 8. For he saith, are not my princes altogether kings?
Come on.
Is not Calno and Carchemish? Is not Hamath as Arpad?
Uh-huh.
Is not Samaria as Damascus?
Read a little faster, Hezekiah.
As my hand hath found the kingdoms of the idols, and whose graven images did excel them of Jerusalem and of Samaria, shall I not, as I have done unto Samaria and her idols, so do to Jerusalem and her idols?
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore it shall come to pass that when the Lord hath performed his whole work upon Mount Zion and on Jerusalem, I will punish the fruit of the stout heart of the king of Assyria,
Come on.
and the glory of his high looks.
Read.
For he saith, by the strength of my hand I have done it, and my wisdom, for I am prudent, and I have removed the bounds of the people, and have robbed their treasurers, and I have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man.
Read.
And my hand have found as a nest the rich, the riches of the people, and as one gathereth eggs that are left, have I gathered all the earth. And there was none that moved the wing, or opened the mouth, or peeped.
Read.
Shall the axe boast itself against him that heweth?
So stop right there. So the Most High was shown that as though he used Assyria to destroy nations, he also what? He brought them down as well. Okay, and then Assyria was eventually conquered and taken over by the Babylonian Empire. Type in. Matter of fact, before you type it in, let me see what's the next thing I sent after that. There's something I'm missing. That's the Enuma Elise, right? Ashurbanipal. All right, yeah. Since we're talking about Assyria and Babylon, so the Enuma Elise is the Babylonian creation myth. Now, every nation on this earth has a record or a thought about the creation, and a lot of them are similar. Why? Who knows the answer to it? Officer Zephaniah.
Because after the flood, it was Shem, Ham, and Japheth. They got the history and the laws from Noah, and they passed it down to all their offspring.
Yes, and it was retained. It was retained with Shem. All right, with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Go down. So this is the Enuma Elish or Enuma Elise. All right, 1,000 lines recorded in Babylonian, Sumer, Akkadian, cuneiform. Cuneiform was their language. Also, their written language is called the cuneiform. Go down. See, Assyria, primary god, Ashur. Remember, they come from who? And we read it in Genesis 10. You forgot the thought already. Genesis 10, please. Genesis 10, verse 11.
The book of Genesis, chapter 10, and verse 11. Out of that land went forth Asher. And
So who the Assyrians come out of? Thank you. Read that. Somebody read this right here. Matter of fact, I'll read it. It says, some later versions replace Marduk with the Syrian primary god Asher. All right, Marduk is also pronounced Mordecai. That's where you get Mordecai from. The Enuma Elise exists in various copies from Babylon and Assyria. The version from the library of Ashurbanipal the second was the one that was mostly talked about as being a great king. All right. So we're still talking about Assyria and Babylon. All right. Zoom in a little bit more. All right. Up there, there's better pictures. I wish I could find it. There's better pictures of that. There's a god inside of a wheel that they served right there. There's a god inside of a wheel that they served, okay? Why? Because, like I said, every nation, they have a recording of the chariots, all right? Some might look different than others, but they all have a record somewhere. That's Ashurbanipal the second, all right? King of Assyria. Okay? Okay, you could close that out. Get me Ezra. Ezra chapter 4 and verse 10. Have that written down. Let me see why. Had Ezra chapter 4 and verse 10.
the book of Ezra, chapter 4, verse 10. And the rest of the nations whom the great and noble Asnapper brought over and set in the cities of Samaria, and the rest that are on this side the river.
So that's going into Assyria again. They took heathens and they set them up in our land. Okay, they set them up in our land. Okay, that's why you have a lot of Israelite camps who still believe that the Samaritan woman, the woman at the well, was a heathen and not an Israelite. But how do we know that she's an Israelite? How do we know? Or soldier in the front.
Shalom leadership, Isaiah 7 and 9.
You said what?
Isaiah 7 and 9. 7 and 8, 7 and 9.
What does it say?
It says that Samaria is the head of
The head of Ephraim.
Ephraim.
Okay,
is the head of
very
Samaria.
good. And there's another one. Give me another one. Who knows? Kasha.
John 4:12.
John 4:12, when she said, our fathers?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's a good one. Where else? There's one in Maccabees. Who knows? Just quote it. There's one in Maccabees where it says that a third part of the land was returned unto Samaria. Okay, there's one in Maccabees. There's one in Maccabees. I'll get it for you at the end, towards the end of class. Okay. Now we're going to move. We went from Assyria and Babylon. Let's deal with Genesis 10. Now let's focus on Babylon a bit. Genesis, the 10th chapter. Let's start with, I want you to start with Ham, verse 6.
The book of Genesis, chapter 10 and verse 6.
Mhm.
And the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim and Put and Canaan.
Jump to verse 8.
Verse 8. And Cush begat Nimrod.
Mhm.
He began to be a mighty one in the earth.
So he began to be a mighty one in the earth. Read. Read.
He was a mighty hunter before the Lord.
Uh-huh.
Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord,
Come on.
and the beginning of his kingdom
The beginning of Nimrod's kingdom, come on,
was Babel,
was Babel. That's where we get Babylonian from, okay? Babel, come on.
and Urkit,
Mm-hmm.
and Akkad,
Mm-hmm.
and Calneh
Come on.
in the land of Shinar.
Shinar was the capital of Babylon. Come on.
Out of that land went forth Asher,
Mm-hmm.
and builded Nineveh.
And Asher is the one who builded Nineveh. Now, jump to chapter 11. Jump to chapter 11 and start at verse 1.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 1. And the whole earth was one language,
Was of one language. Come on.
and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there.
Read.
And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick, and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar.
Read.
And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven.
That's known as the Tower of Babel, okay? One world order. They were trying to establish a new world order at that time. Okay, a democracy, all right, to try to reach into the heavens. Come on.
And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
Come on.
And the Lord came down
And
to
the Lord came down. The Lord came down. Chariots. He didn't come out of the sky and just land on top of it. He came down. Well, we've seen that before. Remember in the part 1 class I did, remember the chariot in Jerusalem that came down and sat right on top of the Dome of the Rock. How many of you brothers remember that? Good. It's the same thing. The Lord came down. Come on.
And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower,
And he didn't come by himself either. Come on.
which the children of men builded.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language.
Mhm.
And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them,
Come on.
which they have imagined to do.
Read.
Go to, let us. Go,
Let who?
let us.
Let us. That's why I said he didn't come by himself. He came with the host of heaven. That's why it was the chariots with an S. It says, let us. That us is the same Elohim that we read about in Genesis, the 1st chapter. Let us create man in our image. Now it's saying, let us go down. It was multiple chariots. Come on.
Let us go down and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
That's why you have all these different drawings like I just showed you, starting with the Syrian, Babylonian captivities or empires, you should say, of different pictures and artifacts of chariots, of so-called UFOs, all right? Because all of these things was passed down. All of these things are records passed down from generation to generation. But in our mind, we're thinking that, no, the UFOs are now. Why? Because we keep listening to Esau. This is something that's been around for the longest, and they know it. They have records. How do you think I was able to get some of the many pictures and stuff? Through a lot of researching and digging, of course, but it's there. And they don't want you to find out what those things are. Their job is to keep you asleep, to keep your faith little. That's their purpose. Okay, now let's go to the Persians, also known as the Medo-Persian Empire at first, but then it became the Persian and the Medes. Guess what? The Persians and the Medes are very well acquainted with the God of Israel. Very well acquainted. Okay, get me the coin. Let's show the coin first. Oh, this is beautiful. Brother just pulled it up. Hey, wait. Take that off. Got to create excitement. Let me explain. This is beautiful. Hey, post the Ashurbanipal from the Slater Museum. Let me show y'all. Post that first. This is going into Assyria and Babylon. Show the winged god in the chariot, please. It's the last thing on Telegram. Right there. Okay, this is in the Slater Museum. All right, that's the god that they worship, and it's inside of a chariot, and it got wings on it. Okay, that goes with Ashurbanipal, what we just discussed. Now take that off. Pull up the coin from the Persian and Mede Empire. Pull up the coin. All right, right there. Blow it up a bit. Blow it up. Go down. All right, this is from the Torah Institute. Persian coin in captives district. Yahoo, also know Yahweh, and so forth. What is he sitting on, brothers? And you see the Paleo Hebrew right there, right? Right, the old Paleo Hebrew. He's sitting on a what? Also known as a what? A what? A wheel. A wheel. Go down. And he's bearded. He got a beard. Look at his nose. Look at the width of that thing. Look at that. And he got a beard. Go down. Go down. More. Go down right there. Look at that. Persian coin. Okay. Yahoo is clearly stamped in the letters Yod-He Vav-He. That's how you pronounce it. Yod-He Vav-He. It's the Y, the H, the W, and the H. It's also known as a tetragrammaton. The tetragrammaton. Okay? Close that out. No, actually, no, leave that. Leave that. Let that thing sink in your brain to show you that the other nations know what time it is. They know that there's a God in Israel. Their job is to hide it from you. Okay? Get me Daniel 7, verse 9. God chilling, sitting on his wheels. Daniel 7, verse 9. And this is a real coin made in Persia. Okay? Come on.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down.
So Daniel had a vision. The thrones were cast down. America cast down. Russia, Vladimir Putin cast down. The Ayatollah of Persia, of Iran, cast down, along with the sitting current president, cast down. All the thrones cast down. Come on.
And the Ancient of Days did
That's talking about God, Lord God Yahweh. Come on. He did what?
And the Ancient of Days did sit.
Did sit. In order to sit, you got to have what? A body. You got to have a gluteus maximus to sit. Just like we're watching here. What is he doing here? Sitting on his wheels. Okay, he probably has some spinners on him. Who knows? Go ahead. Come on.
Whose garment was white as snow. And the hair of his head like the pure wool.
Come on. And he had white woolly hair, that kinky nappy hair that many of you brothers have. Come on.
His throne was like the fiery flame. And his wheels.
And his what?
And his wheels.
And his wheels. You're looking at it. You're looking at it. These nations know we are the only ones that are still asleep. We are the only ones that still asleep. Lack faith. So we have to what? visual aid to show you that the Bible's a real book. Because if I were to read it with nothing on the screen, you wouldn't believe it. Okay? It's there. His wheels. This is an old coin. This is not new. This was not minted yesterday. This is centuries old. The Lord God Yahweh on his wheels. Read that part again. I don't think these brothers understand. Or these sisters. Come on.
His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire.
As burning fire, his wheels. Now get me the shooting. Get me the shooting in Iran. This was not in America. This was in Iran. It's a YouTube video. Get me the shooting. Okay? Get me the shooting, because this is exactly what's going to happen when Christ makes his second return. All the nations are going to be gathered together to fight him who comes from the sea. That's written in where? The book of Ezra. Okay? Come on. Press play. I'll take that. Look at that right there. That's a chariot. Press pause, press pause. Where my military brothers at? Come on. What is that? A 50 cal, right? It sounds like a 50 cal. Look at that thing. And this is multiple shots. Multiple shots being shot at the chariots. And the chariots is just chilling. They just tap dancing. This is light work for them. This is light work because they can move faster than the speed of light. They operate on another level of frequency. Okay? And Esau doesn't even have anything that can move like the speed of light. That's something that they're trying to get up to. Guess what? The chariots of God, they're beyond that. They're beyond the speed of light. They broke that barrier ever since they said, let us make man in our image. That thing was already created. Play that again from the beginning. Play that again. Come on. This is in Iran. They don't know what they're shooting at, but they shooting. Ain't no drone. Look at that. All you hear is Allah Akbar. They can't hit it. Look at that. Look at that. Bobbing and weaving on them. It's like hitting a double N bag, man. They can't even hit it. Look at that. Multiple shots. 20, 50, 100. Dancing on them. And you know what's funny? It makes a U-turn and comes right back. It's like a board. It just keeps coming right back. It don't even disappear. That's a tease. That's teasing. Man, them chariots, they chilling right now. They can't wait to throw down. They just waiting for you brothers and sisters to get your mind right, to be sealed. Once you sealed, it's over. Now it's game time. Right now, they just sparring. They chilling right now. That was funny as hell. But you know what? That's how you know we the Israelites, man. The scripture says, let us make man in our image. A lot of you, y'all think of flesh and just the carnal part. But how about the spirit? Guess what? Some of us are able to tap into a little bit of that spiritual realm. Show me the next video so they know what I'm talking about. Now, don't go out there try to dodge no 50 cal. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're gonna come back like Swiss cheese. Swiss cheese in a box. Start this from the beginning. You're going to play this to 153. And yes, hold on, from the beginning. Boxing is my thing. Y'all know that. So we got Canelo Alvarez from the tribe of Issachar. So Northern Kingdom, you get some love too. Look at that. That's the same thing them Chariots was doing. Whoop. Can't see me right there. Nope. Can't touch me. You know who this is, Purnell. Look at that. 2 hands, 1 head. 2 hands, 1 head. Nope, can't touch me. Sorry. That's the same thing the Chariots was doing to them damn Iranian Persians. Dancing on them. It's the same thing. That's beautiful work right there, man. Guess what? Christ said you brothers are going to do greater things than this. Can't touch me. Can't touch me, baby. And that's a Filipino. Come on. Let's get some more. All right, it's a car. All right, it's a car. Got it too. It's a car. Got it too. You're stopping at 1 minute and 53. We ain't gonna show the whole thing. So we got some skill too. This is Nassim Hamed. He ain't Jake, but whatever. He has some moves too. You got to give him credit.
Right hand and then a delayed action fall for Angeles. It seemed to take a while to take effect. It was the right hand, I'm sure, that did it.
Hey, your boy right there.
That was a perfect example. Shane threw about 5 of them little jiggly punches and Floyd threw one little short right hand and did more damage.
Hey, guess what? That's what them Chariots is going to do. They're going to roll away and come right back.
And he's found a hole for that right hand, almost took them with the left hand. But see,
Look at that.
He just dances around and makes it awkward.
Hey, tell me that ain't the same thing we just seen, but on a spiritual level. Chariots moving on a spiritual level. All right, close it down. That's beautiful work right there, man. Let's give the Lord a clap. For real. Give the Lord a clap, man. I'm telling you, when them chariots come, it's game time. When them chariots come, it is game time. Get me Ezekiel, the 1st chapter. Ezekiel chapter 1. Let's read verse 12.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 1 and verse 12. And they went everyone straight forward.
You hear that? Just like the chariot we just seen. It went everyone straight forward. Come on.
Whither the Spirit was to go.
Where the Spirit went, that's where they went. When they say they thought left, it moved left. They thought right, it moved right. They didn't have to turn like these aviation vehicles that we have now in Babylon the Great. You know how you drive, you got to turn the steering wheel. Nope, they ain't do that. They thought left and it moved left. Read that again. Come on.
And they went everyone straight forward. Whither the Spirit was to go, they went. And they turned not when they went.
Give me verse 14.
Verse 14. And the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning.
That's how fast they moved. That's how fast they moved. All right. That's why Esau says they move faster than the speed of light. Okay. They move faster than the speed of light. Go ahead. Read verse 17 now.
Verse 17. When they went upon their 4 sides.
So they didn't have to turn. Like I said, they don't have to turn. We just seen that. Come on.
And they turned not when they went.
And they turned not when they went. Is that it on verse 17?
Yes, sir.
Get me 19.
Verse 19. And when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them.
When the living creatures went, the wheels went by them, with them. Why? Because there was a spiritual connection there. Okay, they didn't have to hold on to a steering wheel. Okay, wherever they went, the wheels went with them. Okay, come on.
And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up.
When they thought, now it's time to get out of here, let me fly up, guess what? The wheels went up with them. Verse 20.
Whithersoever the Spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go.
Come on.
And the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels.
It's all spiritual. The spirit of the living creatures, the angels, were in the wheel. Okay, it was in the wheel. Read verse 21.
Verse 21. When those went, these went.
When those went, these went. Come on.
And when those stood, these stood.
Come on.
And when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels.
For the spirit of the angels, the spirit of the living creatures were in the wheels. All right, that's a beautiful thing right there. That is a beautiful thing. Get me Isaiah 65 and verse 24. Isaiah 65 and verse 24. Because we have a spiritual connection with God. And when Christ comes back, this is what God promises us once he returns.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 65 and verse 24. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer.
God says a day's going to come that he's going to answer before we call. Why? Because he's going to know our thoughts. Before you call on him, he's going to answer. That's a spiritual connection right there, because we are a spiritual people. But right now, we in the flesh, we caught up with carnal stuff. We got to purify our bodies and our spirit with sins in order to obtain those spiritual powers that the Most High said we can unlock. And you got to have faith to believe that thing. Okay? Is that it on verse 24?
No.
Read.
And while they are yet speaking, I will hear.
And while they are yet speaking, I will hear. Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. So what gives the chariots an advanced propulsion system? Because that's what we're seeing. And it's spirit. It's all spirit, 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 spirit. That's why Esau, like I said, is still trying to find out exactly what the chariots are and how are they able to move so fast. They don't understand that thing. Okay? They're trying to go into nuclear stuff to try to get their devices and their structures to move as fast as the chariots, but they don't understand that the propulsion system that the chariots are on is spiritual. It's spiritual, and they operate at a higher frequency than what's on this planet Earth. Get me, let's go to Ezra real quick. Start at 4, verse 4.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 4 and verse 4. Wherefore, if thou canst declare me one, I will show thee also the way that thou desirest to see. And I will show thee from whence the wicked heart cometh. And I said, tell on, my Lord. Then said he unto me, go thy way, weigh me the weight of the fire.
Weigh me the weight of the fire. You can't weigh fire. That's actually a rhetorical question. Okay, you can't weigh fire. Or I said, weigh me the weight of fire. Come on.
Or measure me the blast of the wind.
Or measure me the blast of the wind. You got to think about it. Because King Solomon was very wise, right? He was the wisest king of all. And he knew how the atoms work and the different elements and functions, correct? Okay, but now you have Uriel asking Ezra to weigh him fire and the blast of the wind. These are things, think about it, what Uriel is asking him. Zephaniah got a smile on his face, right? Think about what Uriel is asking him, because the chariots are described as what? Described fire and a whirlwind. Read that part again. I'm just going to drop it out there, but I ain't going to go into it too much. Read that part again. Come on.
Go thy way, weigh the weight of the fire, or measure me the blast of the wind.
Weigh me the weight of fire or measure me the blast of the wind. I'm going to leave that right there for you. I'm going to tickle your frontal lobe a bit, and I'm just going to leave that right there. But we know the Bible always speaks about what? Chariots of fire and whirlwind. Okay? Get me, let's go. Now we're going to go to the Greco-Roman Empire. So we did Persian and the Medes. We went over Babylon. We went over Assyria, and we also touched on Egypt with the chariots. Now let's go to the Greco-Roman Empire. Let's get 2nd Maccabees 11 verse 6.
The book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 11 and verse 6. Now when they that were with Maccabees heard that he besieged the holds, they and all the people with lamentations and tears besought the Lord that he would send a good angel to deliver Israel.
Read.
Then Maccabeus himself, first of all, took weapons, exhorting the others that they would jeopard themselves together with him to help their brethren. So they went forth together with a willing mind. And as they were at Jerusalem, there appeared before them on horseback one in white clothing, shaking his armor of gold.
So this was during the time of the Maccabees, okay? When the angels made themselves present as well. Go ahead.
Then they praised.
What verse are you in?
Verse 9.
Verse 9, come on.
Then they praised the merciful God altogether and took heart, insomuch that they were ready not only to fight with men, but with most cruel beasts, and to pierce through walls of iron.
Okay, that was verse what?
That was 9.
Keep reading. Read a little faster.
Verse 10. Thus they marched forward in their armor, having an helper from heaven. For the Lord was merciful unto them.
Read.
And giving charge.
You're stopping at 13.
Okay. And giving a charge upon their enemies like lions, they slew 11,000 footmen and 1,600 horsemen, and put all the other to flight. Many of them also being wounded escaped naked, and Lysias himself fled away shamefully and so escaped.
All right, drop that. Get me 2 Maccabees 10, verse 25. 2 Maccabees 10.
The book of 2 Maccabees chapter 10 and verse 25. But when he drew near, they that were with Maccabeus turned themselves to pray unto God, and sprinkled earth upon their heads, and girded their loins with sackcloth, and fell down at the foot of the altar, and besought him to be merciful to them, and to be an enemy to their enemies, and an adversary to their adversaries, as the law declareth. So after the prayer, they took their weapons and went on further from the city. And when they drew near to their enemies, they kept by themselves. Now the sun being newly risen, they joined both together, the one part having together with their virtue their refuge also unto the Lord for a pledge of their success.
What verse are you in?
28.
Okay, read.
The other side making their rage leader of their battle.
Okay, so I just wanted to show you how the Maccabees was always praying to the Lord, and the Most High would send a good angel to fight on their behalf. And these are things that they seen and recorded. Now, get me Matthew 2. Let's go right to Rome. So that's Greece. We just left Greece. Now we're going to go to Rome. Matthew 2 and verse 2. Then you're going to jump to verse 9. Matthew 2, verse 2, and then verse 9.
The book of Matthew chapter 2 and verse 2. Saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him. Verse 9. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was.
What verse?
That was verse 9.
Verse 9. Excellent. So that's going into the star. It wasn't a star that's out in the solar system. This star was a representation of the chariot. That's why in verse 9 it said it moved and it stood over where the young child was. Get me Matthew 3, verse 16.
The book of Matthew chapter 3 and verse 16. And Jesus, when he was baptized, went up straightway out of the water, and lo, the heavens were opened unto him, and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and lighting upon him.
Okay, so it says it saw the Spirit of God doing what?
Descending.
Descending. You want to focus on that word, descending. When you see descending and ascending, those are words you want to focus on. Just don't read over it. Okay, get me Luke 3, verse 22.
The book of Luke, chapter 3, and verse 32.
Come on.
22, pardon me. And the Holy Ghost descended in a bodily shape like a dove upon him.
Okay, drop that. Give me John 1, verse 51. John chapter 1, verse 51.
The book of John, chapter 1, verse 51. And he saith unto him, verily, verily, I say unto you, hereafter ye shall see heaven open, and the angels of God ascending.
Ascending, coming down.
And descending.
And descending, come on.
Upon the Son of Man.
Upon the Son of Man. When he took him up into the heavens, you read about that in Acts, the 1st chapter. Okay, Christ was telling them you're going to see chariots. You're going to see the chariots come down and do these things. Now get me the next article. Right? Some describe them as gods and angels. Now, you see where it says these so-called gods came to earth from Sirius? That's a star That's a star in the constellation. We're going to go into that. Hopefully we'll be able to do it today. I'm not sure. These so-called gods came to the earth from Sirius, Orion, and the Pleiades, Cygnus, and other worlds with intelligent design. Okay. All right. Take this off the screen. Go to the next article that I sent. Go down so I can read it. All right. So these are basic testimonials from a Greek biographer and historian. Look at the time period, 46 to 120 A.D. Okay. Go down. All right. So this is going into what happened in Rome with two opposing armies. Blow it up. Okay, let's read it. This is in an actual historical text. It says the original extract describes the incident in the following words. So what are we reading? History. When he faced Lucullus, the enemies, he was amazed by the number of people and wanted to avoid and delay the battle. As Marius, who was dispatched from Iberia by Sertorius to help Mithridates as a sergeant together with a military army, challenged Lucullus, he got set for battle. While marching towards the conflict without any observable change happening, the air opened and appeared a rapidly descending object resembling a flame, which appeared, why does it resemble a flame? Chariots of fire. Resembling a flame, which appeared like a vase in shape and like a glowing, annealed metal in color. Both armies, frightened by the sighting, withdrew. They said that this happened in Phrygia, near to what is known as oak trees. Go down. Is there more on that? Nope, that's it. Okay, so this happened during the time of Rome. Written down for their scholars to know and us to just walk around blind and simple as hell. Don't know what's going on. Okay? Okay, now let's get to Babylon. So we discussed Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Persian Mede, Greece, Rome. Now good old US of A, America, and Europe and its colonies and its allies. Let me see what I want. Let me make sure I don't skip anything. I don't want to skip. I did skip something before we get to America. Get me thesun.com. All right. So it says another theory suggests the painting is reference to a passage in the Gospels on how the heavens opened and the Spirit descended like a dove and lighting upon it. When was this picture taken? Centuries ago. But look what they put in the picture. Me and the scholars know what time it is, like we said. Go down. All right, the chariots of God right there. Down. 1486. Go down. Look up in the top left corner. Right there. Go down. So this is not a new thing that just happened today and everybody's confused. No, they have drawings of this from way back. Can we get inside of those chariots or what? That's how we know it's not a jellyfish, because there's people inside of that. Okay, of course they whitewashed them. They got them looking as like Europeans. Look to the one on the far right. There's people operating the vehicle. And you know how this the devil that the Bible speaks of, go up to that picture. No, right there. Look, go down. Bring it up right there. Look. What color are they? They didn't get to whitewash everybody. But they know Negroes are not observant, so this is just going to go over your head, because you're just going to, as soon as you see Caesar Borgia, the church music goes on in your head and you forget everything. You don't see the chariots on the side. You don't see the black disciples, the black people rising up out of the tomb. You don't see none of that. You just focus on Caesar. Okay? Okay, close that out. Give me Zechariah chapter 5. Let's start at verse 1.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 5 and verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll.
Come on.
And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll.
Come on.
The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth.
This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. Read.
For everyone that stealeth.
Everyone that stealeth. How did Esau get America, Europe? How did Esau get anything? He stole it. Come on.
Shall be cut off as on this side according to it.
Come on.
And everyone that sweareth.
And everyone that sweareth. Does Esau swear, y'all? Swears on the Bible and breaks every law of the Bible. Come on.
Shall be cut off as one that side according to it.
Come on.
I will bring it forth.
I will bring it forth. Who's bringing forth these chariots? God. He says, I will bring it forth. Come on.
Saith the Lord of hosts. And it shall enter into the house of the thief.
Come on.
And into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name.
That sweareth falsely by my name. That sweareth falsely by my name. Is that verse 5?
No, it's still 4.
Come on.
And it shall remain in the midst of his house.
And shall remain in the midst of his house. That's why in 2019 there was a plethora of sightings. And guess what? 2020 is gonna increase as the time draws near. Come on.
And shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. Verse 5. Then the angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, Lift up now thine eyes and see what is this that goeth forth.
So this is talking about the chariots. God said he's going to consume it with the timber thereof. That's that fire that we read about in Isaiah, the 66th chapter. Get me the next article. Wait. Kasha, I'm going to need you for this one. Get me the interview on YouTube. CIFO. It's in Spanish for you Northern Kingdom. All right? We don't discriminate. We love you too. You part of the 12 tribes too. Okay? So remember the part 1 IFO class that I did, we showed the astrophysicist that said it was black people. Remember he said, it was dark skin? No, black. Guess what? Ephraim says the same thing. I want you to go to 104. Go back a little bit. I want you to translate. Go back so he could go back to 50 seconds. I want people to think, oh, he's lying. Kevin Isaac is lying. That's not what he said. Go ahead. Come on.
Los ojos eran muy grandes, que era lo más extraño de ellos, y sobresalían de la cara, digamos. Eran grandes y en el centro daba la impresión de que tuvieran un pequeño relieve los ojos. ¿Qué color? Negros.
He said, ¿qué color? They're asking what was the color. Said,
wait, go back.
You see how she's pointing to her face.
So he's talking about the encounter that he had, or what he's seen, the chariots. And what he said?
He said the cara, and then she
go
said,
back a little bit. I want to hear it. Wait, go ahead.
The word cara is talking about the face, and then she said, ¿qué color? And he said negro, and then you see afterwards she started doing this, gesturing towards her face.
Press play. Let's verify that.
Sobresalían de la cara, digamos. Eran grandes y en el centro daba la impresión de que tuvieran un pequeño relieve los ojos. ¿Qué color? Negros.
Key color. I know that. Key color. Negro. Negro. Just like the Edomite said. Okay? Negro. He said big Negro. Grande Negro. With big black feet. Grande Negro. Oh, man. Just like the Edomite said, they were like 10 feet. Just like the scriptures talk about. Okay? Drop that. Get me the next YouTube video. This one is in English, so don't worry. Come on. Get me the next one. Start at 3 minutes with Esau again. Because we know if Esau don't say it, y'all ain't going to believe it. So we're going to let Esau talk. So y'all could get hypnotized.
Those abilities, they were never taken over. That was the only star in the local 52 star cluster.
And the 52 stars, so could you explain that a little bit?
Press stop.
And also
pause it. Notice they're always talking about stars, constellations. That's why earlier, what did we read on the screen where it talked about the Orion, the Pleiades, and so forth? Okay? The stars, constellations. All right, go ahead.
Maybe what the height of these particular beings were.
Yes, I'll describe them a little bit. anywhere from 6.5 to 8 feet tall, and some have been
saying
described as
wait, stop. Saying the same thing. Everybody's saying the same thing. Multiple witnesses from different ethnic groups are saying the same thing. Go ahead.
Beings were.
Yes, I'll describe them a little bit. Anywhere from 6.5 to 8 feet tall, and some have been described as taller, and look African.
Oh, hey, wait. Why did he start stuttering? And African. All the time. They do that all the time. Because Esau's mind is fast. They're thinking, man, these guys from another galaxy, these beings are coming here with no problem, disrupting our nuclear practices and experiments and coming to and fro like the planet is theirs. They might be related to these people. Matter of fact, they are related to these people. But let's add a spin to it. Let's say little green men. Or let's say this and say that. Bring that back just a little bit. Bring it back just a little bit. Go ahead. Come on.
They're from 6.5 to 8 feet tall, and some have been described as taller, and look African. Their eyes are just a little bit bigger, and some of them have been described with caramel-colored hair. But
caramel-colored hair is brown. Come on.
Said I had seen that it was short hair, and they were very tall and skinny, and they interact with a lot of shamans here on our planet.
They interact with the shamans. Shamans are people that's into sorcery, witchcraft, spirits, and enchantments. Okay, we're going to go into that just a little bit later. So Esau said it. Maybe you'll believe. Maybe you will believe. Okay? Now, in Zechariah, we read what? No, I'm sorry. Don't go to Zechariah yet. Get me the picture from the author / anthropologist Brad Steiger. Okay, we're going to breeze through this. It says, since primitive humans first crawled out of their caves and gazed up in awe at the star-filled night, humankind has been intrigued by the unexplained mysteries of the universe. Early myths and legends tell of mysterious objects rolling across the heaven. Scraps of ancient documents reveal phenomenal, unexplained manifestations in the skies, chariots. Virtually every religion, that's what we ran over before, every nationality has a record of the chariots. Every religion relates visitations from angels, demons, devils, gods who descended to earth in ancient times. With the highly publicized arrival of the flying saucers in the Earth's atmosphere in 1947. Why is that year there? Who can tell me? 1947, Officer Shema. Come on, brothers, your spiritual eyes should be open. When I see this, it's like I'm looking into the Matrix. Just scream, just call it out. Yes, World War II, the testing of atom bomb, also known as the Manhattan Project. Okay, and the white Hebrew Israelis invaded our land. Okay, it says, with the highly publicized arrival of the flying saucers in the Earth's atmosphere in 1947, modern humans were confronted with what they thought was a new celestial mystery. However, in their efforts to interpret this phenomenon, a band of scholarly individuals dug through old documents and musty records and discovered that the UFO phenomenon had appeared periodically throughout history. That's what we just showed you. Gradually, some UFOologists believed humankind, gods, angels, devils, and demons were nothing more than alien visitors from some superior, let me repeat that again, superior civilization, that's us, Israel, on some far planet in a dark corner of the universe. The hypothesis, so now they're saying it's a hypothesis. The hypothesis of ancient astronauts received its most popular expression in Eric von Daniken's Chariots of the Gods. We went over that book in part 1, which led to the formation of an international ancient astronaut society in 1973. So they had to make a society of scholars to try to debunk and confront this new thing on the earth. Okay? While many find the premise that gods from outer space may have guided developing humankind, which they did, let us make man in what? From outer space may have guided developing developing humankind in its evolutionary accent, critics find fault in the propensity of such theorists to attribute any ancient unexplained mystery to extraterrestrials who supposedly seeded, propagated, and still maintain watch over the planet. Yes, they do. Despite these shortcomings, certain researchers have amassed an impressive stack of evidence. Okay, now we're going to get to the evidence by a man named Brad Steiger, who was an author who wrote many books, fictional and non-fictional, on different paranormal activities. And this is something that he found from his digging through old researching. He found footprints. I'm going to read that again. Footprints on the dark side of the moon. Remember that, brothers? In the last class, dark side of the moon. He found footprints on the dark side of the moon. Get me that in Sirach again. About the armies from above. Sirach 43, I think it is. Huh? 43. I want to show y'all something before I show the picture from the archaeological artifacts and research that this man did. Read. Come on.
43 and 6.
Yes. The point is in verse 8. I just want the just read. Come on, start at verse 6.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 43 and verse 6.
Come on.
He made the moon also to serve in
the moon. What is the topic, brothers? The moon. Come on.
He made the moon also to serve in her season.
Come
for
on.
A declaration of times.
Read.
And a sign of the world.
Uh-huh.
From the moon is the sign of feast.
Come on.
A light that decreaseth in her perfection.
So we know that. The Bible talks about that. Okay, come on.
The month is called after her name.
Read.
Increasing wonderfully in her changing.
Read on.
Being an instrument.
Being an instrument. This is what we went over in part 1. Being an instrument. Come on.
Of the armies above.
Of the armies above. Just like the U.S. have their embassies and they send in their Navy ships before they what? Conquer a nation. It's the same thing the Most High is doing with the chariots, with the angels, with the moon. That's why they have to set up their army base close to the earth. Come on.
Shining in the firmament of heaven.
So the armies above, the chariots, right? So let's see what Brad Steiger found on the dark side of the moon that Esau has been keeping a secret from so-called blacks and Hispanics. Show me the next picture, please. Blow it up. Blow it up. What do we have here? Dark side of the moon. Let's see who's thinking. Let's see who's thinking. Your brain cells should be rushing right now. You should have scriptures should be oozing out of your ears. What do we see here, brothers? They still lost. Your spiritual eyes ain't open yet. Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 5. And I want verse 7. Leave that up there. Big black feet. Those are feet, brothers and sisters. Does God describe the feet of the angels? You better believe it. Read.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 1 and verse 5.
Come on.
Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures.
So what is the topic? The living creatures are the angels of God. Come on.
And this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man.
They had the likeness of a man. That's why we had the Edomite and the other, the Israelite brother, the Spanish-speaking brother told you it looked like men, black men, likeness of a man. Jump to verse 7. This is the point. Look at the picture. Look at the picture. Now read verse 7.
And their feet
and their feet, come on,
were straight feet.
Were straight feet, come on.
And the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot.
If you don't believe the Bible, brothers, after this, something is wrong with your medulla. Something is wrong with your brain. It says the sole of their foot was like the calf's foot. Do you see the imprints? Do you see that thing? Look like Shinobi, one of them ninja shoes. Do you see the imprint of what they found on the dark side of the moon? Y'all see it? Can y'all see this? Go to Wikipedia, Google Images, put in calf's foot. Right there. Now go back. This is what Ezekiel was describing. Now go back to the picture on the moon. The Brad Steiger pick. You see it? Read that again. Read that again. Come on. Verse 7. Hezekiah, come on, wake up.
Verse
Ezekiel
7.
chapter 1, verse 7.
And their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot.
Come on.
And they sparkled like the color of burnished brass.
What color is burnished brass, brothers? Brown, a dark, dark brown, black. Okay, black. Okay, this is what Ezekiel wrote down. Esau has it in their records. Now get me Zechariah. Go back to chapter 5 and read verse 5 again so we don't forget the thought.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 5 and verse 5. Then the angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, Lift up now thine eyes and see what is this that goeth forth.
That's talking about the chariots. Go ahead.
And I said, What is it? And he said, This is an ephah that goeth forth. He said, Moreover.
Hey, stop right there. Get me. That was verse 5?
That's verse 6.
No, I didn't want verse 6. I just wanted 5. Okay, now get me Obadiah. Get me the next article. Get Obadiah 1 verse 6 ready. Let's read that. Let me see what it says. So I have it written down in my notes.
The book of Obadiah, verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out?
Mm-hmm.
How are his hidden things sought up?
So these are the hidden things that are sought up. And they have, guess what? A whole bunch of records. Now these records are being brought forth, and God is giving you the sense distinctly so you can put it with the Bible and see that the Bible's a real book. Okay? The Bible's a real book, brothers and sisters. Is that it on verse 6?
Yes, sir.
Get me Amos 3 verse 7. Then I want the next article.
The book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 7. Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants.
Surely he'll do nothing until he reveals his secret unto his servants. Who's the servants?
The prophets.
And the prophets only come out of the nation of Israel. Some of y'all still thinking Elijah Muhammad. No, not Elijah Muhammad. He was not an Israelite. The prophets are out of the nation of Israel, out of the 12 tribes. Now, he said he's going to reveal the secrets unto the prophets. Let's show a secret that our enemies know that we don't know. Get me the unclassified government document from Oppenheimer and Einstein. Top secret. Obtained by the Freedom of Information Act. See, there's a government records that you're looking at. Look at the year. Remember the year that we read before? What year was it? We read 1947. What year was this letter? 1947. 1947. June. Relationship with inhabitants of celestial bodies. Top secret government document. Obtained by the Freedom of Information Act. You can go online to get those different articles from the Freedom of Information Act. It says relationships with extraterrestrial men presents no basically new problem from the standpoint of international law, but the possibility of confronting intelligent beings that do not belong to the human race would bring up problems whose solution it is difficult to conceive. In principle, there is no difficulty in accepting the possibility of coming to an understanding with them. Really? And of establishing all kinds of relationships. The difficulty lies in trying to establish the principles on which these relationships should be based. Listen to the words. In the first place, it would be necessary to establish communication with them through some language or other. And afterwards, as a first condition for all intelligence, that they should have a psychology similar to that of men. The psychology of the angels are greater than men. But of course, Esau is using himself as a standard because he thinks he is God, who sitteth in the temple of God. posing as God. At any rate, international law should make place for a new law on a different basis, and it might be called law among planetary peoples, following the guidelines found in the Pentateuch. Following the guidelines in the Pentateuch. What is the Pentateuch, brothers? Brother in the back right there.
The first 5 books of Moses.
The Pentateuch is the first 5 books of Moses. So they're saying, well, maybe we should establish a law amongst the human race. They're talking about themselves. They ain't talking about all nations. Amongst the Edomites and these celestial beings based on the first 5 books of Moses. Why would they say that? Why not the Hammurabi codes or the Egyptian Book of the Dead or the Quran? Why would they want to establish law and order between the people on earth and the celestial beings using the Bible? Why? Huh? Because they know that, guess what? As it is on, how it goes again?
As it is on earth,
as it is on earth, as it is in heaven. All right, God wants us to govern ourselves by the Bible. All right? He wants us to govern ourselves by this. This is our Constitution right here. They understand that thing. And they know that the same thing, the same laws that got to be established on earth is the same thing that's going on in heaven. Okay, let's read. It says, at any rate, international law should make place for a new law on a different basis, and it might be called law among planetary peoples, following the guidelines found in the Pentateuch. Obviously, the idea of revolutionizing international law to the point where it would be capable of coping with new situations would compel us to make a change in its structure, a change so basic that it would no longer be international law, because America deals with international law. That is to say, as it is conceived today, but something altogether different so that it could no longer bear the same name. If these intelligent beings were in possession of a more or less culture and a more or less perfect political organization, they would have an absolute right to be recognized as independent and sovereign peoples. We would have to come to an agreement with them to establish the legal regulations upon which future relationships should be based. And it would be necessary to accept many of their principles. It is going to be necessary. They are going to accept everything. Just like we read in Revelation 2, verse 26. We're not asking. The angels, they think the angels are going to ask them to obey the laws of God. Are you kidding me? But that's the pride of Esau. It says, finally, if they should reject all peaceful cooperation and become an imminent threat, which they are, an imminent threat. That's why your President Trump just passed what? The space law program. Over $750 billion to create a military space force to stop your redemption, our redemption. It says, finally, if they should reject all peaceful cooperation and become an imminent threat to the earth, we would have the right to legitimate defense, but only insofar as would be necessary to annul this danger. Another possibility may exist, that a species of Homo sapiens might have established themselves as an independent nation on another celestial body in our solar system. It's not your solar system, it's the Most High solar system. Is this page 2? I want to make sure it's in order. It says, evolved culturally, independently from ours. Obviously, this possibility depends on many circumstances whose conditions cannot yet be foreseen. However, we can make a study of the basis on which such a thing might have occurred. In the first place, living conditions on these bodies, let's say the moon or the planet Mars, would have to be such as to permit a stable and to a certain extent independent life from an economic standpoint. Go down. I ain't going to read all of this. It says, now we come to the problem of determining what to do if the inhabitants of the celestial bodies or extraterrestrial biological entities, also known as EBEs, desire to settle here. If they are politically organized and possess a certain culture similar to our own, they may be recognized as an independent people. Yeah, right. You hear this? This is straight crazy. Like they come in here to negotiate with Esau. Go down. Go down, go down, go down, go down. Y'all can read this on your own. Right? Hold on, go to the last page before this. The page before the last. All right, it says, and now to the final question of whether the presence of celestial astral planes in our atmosphere is a direct result of our testing the atomic weapons. That's the Manhattan Project. The presence of unidentified spacecraft flying in our atmosphere and possibly maintaining orbits about our planet is now, however, accepted by our military. This was 1947. So why are they acting now like they don't know what's going on? It's to keep the masses of the sheeple asleep. Next page. Measures must be taken to rectify a very serious problem or very apparent. Respectfully, Dr. J. Robert Oppenheimer, Director of Advanced Studies, Princeton, New Jersey, and Professor Albert Einstein, Princeton, New Jersey. So you have Oppenheimer and you have Einstein, two well-known physicists, German. Who are the Germans in the Bible? Teeman. Get me the next article, please. Let's read this. The real reasons the U.S. government is so secretive about UFOs. Go down. Let's start out by aviators. Go up. By aviators, the Pentagon is referencing the particular frequency with which UFOs tend to interact with the U.S. naval aviators operating off aircraft carriers. But what the Pentagon is leaving out is why the UFOs tend to run into those naval aviators, and that cuts to the heart of why the Pentagon is concerned about the UFOs. Because the government's assessment, though they won't admit it, is that the UFOs are popping up near the aircraft carriers due to those carriers being nuclear powered. Note also that the UFOs also like to pop up near nuclear submarines and Air Force nuclear weapon bases. Now recognize that this paradigm has been occurring since the Manhattan Project, 1947. The Manhattan Project. Since the Manhattan Project, right? Operations at Los Alamos, New Mexico, and also at nuclear sites in the Soviet Union and Russia. Oh, and as Robert Hastings documents, these UFOs have sometimes even temporarily shut down U.S. nuclear weapons systems. Interesting, right? Why do you think they do? Why do you think they're doing that? Why do you think the Chariots are shutting down the nuclear silos? Besides, of course, they're playing around with Esau. Brother right there, stand up. Give him the mic real quick. Stand up, say your name on the mic.
Shalom, Jabari. They're doing it to. That's how this place is gonna get destroyed. Is they're gonna shut down the nukes.
Very good, but what else?
Be able to defend themselves.
What else?
And that's all I got.
Officer Shema.
Because the scriptures tell us that the angels say, "Hurt not the earth."
Get that. Winds. Let's get that. Very good. Very good. Brothers are thinking. That's what I love. That's what I love. Let's get it. Hurt not the earth. That's in Ezra 13:1. Is that the right scripture? Give me Revelation. Give me Revelation. Yeah, Ezra is the precept for the winds. Come on.
The book of Revelation, chapter 7 and verse 3. Saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea,
come on,
nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads.
That's why they're holding back the four armies, holding back the winds, which are the armies, because we have not been sealed yet. That's why they're disrupting the nuclear silos. Okay, not only to show their might, but what? Because it's not ready yet. We're not ready yet. Nuclear war happens, we're all finished. God says, no, that is not going to happen until the servants of God are sealed in their foreheads and the elect are sealed. 12,000 out of every tribe. Okay? Drop that. Get me Operation Paperclip. Operation Paperclip. Because we read the letter from Oppenheimer and Einstein. Two of the world's best known astrophysicists, right, and scientists who were German, teaming. Blow that up. Blow this up. Let's read it real quick. Go down. Come on. Okay. Operation Paperclip was a secret program of the Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, largely carried out by the Special Agents of Army, CIC, in which more than 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians, such as Werner von Braun and his V-2 rocket team, were taken from Germany to America for U.S. government employment, primarily between 1945, World War II, and 1959. Many were former members, and some were former leaders of the Nazi Party. So how come our white Hebrew Israeli counterparts, how come they're not calling America anti-Semite and the government anti-Semite? They're taking in Nazi scientists to help them enrich their uranium and nuclear silos. Why they not calling them racists and anti-Semites? That shows you the hypocrisy. Because guess what? Some of those same German scientists went over there to Israel too. And they're in Russia. And they're sharing nuclear technology with each other. Okay? It says the primary purpose for Operation Paperclip was U.S. military advantage in the Soviet-American Cold War and the space race. That's what your President Donald Trump just accomplished by establishing a space force in outer space, where he took $750 billion to form a military to stop the Chariots. The Soviet Union was more aggressive in forcibly recruiting more than 2,200 German specialists, a total of more than 6,000 people, including family members, with Operation Oivoikum. Oivoikum. I don't know how to pronounce that. Okay? So drop that. More proof that this man knows what time it is. So he's recruiting people to what? Fight against God, okay, with his space force. Get me Obadiah 1 verse 9. Come on, Obadiah 1 verse 9. I need you to read fast, Hezekiah.
The book of Obadiah, verse 9. And the mighty men of Teman shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off.
They're going to be dismayed because they're such a brilliant race of people, the Temanites. They were the wise men of Edom, able to build these structures like the atom bomb and so forth and destroy nations. Okay? They're going to be dismayed because none of that is going to stand up against God. Read.
May be cut off by slaughter.
And they're going to be cut off by slaughter. Is that all of verse 9?
Yes, sir.
Give me Amos chapter 1 and verse 12.
The book of Amos, chapter 1 and verse 12. But I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Basra.
It says he's going to send a fire upon Teman that shall devour the palaces of Basra. Basra was one of the capitals of Edom. This was one of the cities. This is allegory talk. God is making references to America, okay, and its allies. Is that it on verse 12?
Yes, sir.
Get me Ezekiel 25, verse 13. Ezekiel 25, verse 13.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 25 and verse 13.
Come on.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom.
I will also stretch out my hands upon Edom. Come on.
And will cut off man and beast from it. And I will make it desolate from Teman.
And I will make it desolate from Teman. Come on.
And from they of Dedan shall fall by the sword.
And they of Dedan shall fall by the swords. Give me Habakkuk 3, verse 3.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 3, verse 3. God came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Param.
So this is the end times. It says God came from Teman and the Holy One from Mount Param. Come on.
Selah. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise.
Come on. That's it?
Yep.
That's it on verse? That's it? Verse 3? Okay. Now get me the Noahide laws by your President Bush. So we read how they were saying how when the chariots come, there's a good possibility they have to establish laws in America, in the U.S., on this earth, based on the Torah, the first 5 books. It's too late for that. It's too late for that. Because the Bible always been here. Now they what? Legalized homosexuality. They put themselves up as God. It is way too late for that. Now look what George Bush tried to do, as if they're gonna change the scriptures. All right. The Noahide law is a universal code for peace and treaty. Blow it up so I can see the part about George Bush. Go down. This is something established by the Chabad sect of the white Hebrew Israelis. And they're trying to say that the Gentiles should live off the Noahide laws. Go down. Go down. Okay, right there. Because this was established by Chabad, the Chabad Lubavitch, right? By a man in Brooklyn. His name was Menachem Begum. And he was saying that the Gentiles should live by this. So in 1991, President George Bush signed into law an historic joint resolution of both houses of Congress recognizing the 7 Noahide laws as the bedrock of society from the dawn of civilization. But guess what, brothers? They don't live by not one law. All right, well, y'all could research it on your own, but this is what America passed into law under George Bush. But guess what? It's too late. It's too late. And they're not following it anyway, because the man that came after him, Bush Jr., he passed a law saying 2 men can get married, 2 women can get married. Okay? That shows you that America is off. America is off. So the reason, I want y'all to forget the point. The reason I brought that out is to show you at first they spoke about following the Torah, if there was supposed to be some kind of invasion. Then later on, Bush Sr. implemented the Noahide laws into legislation. And still now, America does not follow one law in the Bible. Not one law in the Bible. All right, Psalms 50, 16 to 21. Come on.
The book of Psalms, chapter 50, verse 16. But unto the wicked God saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth?
So that's speaking to who? Esau. What have you to do to declare my statutes? To even be in possession of our records, that's a crime in its own. America, no other nations should have this Bible in their hand. Because the rightful owners of this Bible is our people. God put it into our hands to what? Rule this planet Earth under the Bible. Psalms 50 and 16 again.
But unto the wicked God saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth?
Come on.
Seeing thou hatest instruction.
So Esau hates instruction. Come on.
And castest my words behind thee.
When
thou sawest the thief, then thou consentest with him.
So America consents with thieves. Why? Look how they got this land. Look at all the other European nations doing the same thing. Remember the Berlin Conference, the scramble for Africa? They did the same thing. They went after all those different lands over there on the continent of Africa. France took France took Mali. France took France took French Guinea. All the French-speaking colonies, they took. Britain came, they took that. They all follow the same thing, the same protocol. Read that part again.
When thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him.
Why? Because America, the Edomites here in America are thieves themselves. Come on.
And hast been partaker with adulterers.
And they've been partakers with adulterers. Read on.
Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit.
And thy tongue frameth deceit. That's what they doing now, trying to frame us. Talk about black Hebrew Israelites running around, shooting places up and doing all sorts of malice and mischief when they know that's a damn lie. Read.
Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit.
Come on.
Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother.
Who's the brother? Who's their brother? Where it says thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Who is that making reference to? Brother right here. The glasses. Stand up. Say your name first.
Shalom, Cap, and leadership. Jacob and Israel.
Jacob and Israel, because Esau speaks. Technically, we were his brother at one time, correct? Same mother, same father, but he speaks against us. Read.
Thou slanderest thine own mother's son.
And they slander us. That's what we see going on in the news. Read on.
These things hast thou done, and I kept silence.
The Most High said he kept silence. Come on.
Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself.
You thought that I was an Edomite. You painted me as one in all your churches, all your different artwork. You painted me as an Edomite. Gave me that leprosy hair, right? That the Bible speaks about in Leviticus, the 13th chapter, the 30th verse. You made the angels white. You made Christ white. You made the disciples white. You made the Israelites white. Then you took these same people and you threw them in the land over there. And now you call them Israelis. Go ahead.
But I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes.
And that's what the Most High is doing now. He's setting us in order. He's setting the nation of Israel in order right before the eyes of the other nations. All right? So, get me Romans 9. I want 11. We're going to read 11 to 23. Let's not forget the point. How this man goes and implements different things according to the Bible, but he does not follow not one law. Romans chapter 9. Let's start at verse 11.
The book of Romans chapter 9, verse 11. For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works.
Not of works.
But of him that calleth.
So who called us? God called us. Before Jacob was even born. Before Jacob did any good thing, he called us. He says, not of works, but of him who calleth. Go ahead.
It was said unto her.
It was said unto Rebekah.
The elder shall serve the younger.
That Esau shall serve the younger. Come on.
As it is written. Jacob have I loved.
As it is written where, brothers? Malachi 1 and 2. Very good. Come on.
But Esau have I hated.
It says Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Read on.
What shall we say then?
Come on.
Is there unrighteousness with God?
So is there unrighteousness with God? No, hell no. He is the creator of the universe, who's in charge of his creations. He picks and chooses what he wants. The same way you brothers picked and choose what clothes you decide to wear throughout the week. You might have a 10 pairs of sneakers in the closet, but you have a set that you like out of all the rest. It's the same thing. The Most High God has options. Okay, go ahead.
God forbid.
Come on.
For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion.
So the Most High said he's going to have mercy on who he is going to have mercy on, and he's going to have compassion on whom he will have compassion. Go ahead.
So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth.
So you can't will yourself to be the chosen of God, nor can you run. Okay? Nor can you run to be the chosen of God. Go ahead.
But of God that showeth mercy. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh.
So as the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, so now Paul is making a comparison here. Who is he comparing Pharaoh to? Esau. Okay, don't forget that. Esau, go ahead.
Even for the same purpose have I raised thee up.
The same way Pharaoh was mighty in his time and no nation could lift a finger against Egypt, Paul is saying it's the same thing with Esau in his kingdom over here in America. No nation can raise up their finger against America, against this Edomite. Go ahead.
That I might show my power in thee.
So God said he was built up, this same purpose, so that he might show his power in thee. Come on.
And that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
Because once God takes down America, the whole planet Earth is going to know who took down America. Because nobody else can. The Persians can't do it. The Ishmaelites can't do it. Russia can't do it. China can't do it unless God allows that thing to go down. Go ahead. Come on.
Therefore hath he mercy on whom he will have mercy.
Come on.
And whom he will, he hardeneth.
And that's what God is doing. He's hardeneth the heart of America. Because ever since 1947, in the letter that we read before, with Oppenheimer and Einstein, they know that they are not following the Torah. Okay, and that's been here. We're in 2019. That was 1947. Fast forward to the time under Bush Sr. with the Noahide laws. They are still not, those 7 basic laws they are not following. And I'm not talking about with other nations outside of the United States. I'm talking about just here. Just here with the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives, they are not following those laws. Read that again.
Therefore hath he mercy on whom he will have mercy.
Come on.
And whom he will, he hardeneth.
And God is the one that's hardeneth the hearts of Esau here. That's why they still won't recognize us as the true Jews, the Israelites, until this very day. That's why they refuse to recognize the IFOs, so-called UFOs, as the chariots of God. All right? God is the one that's doing that to them. They still don't want to recognize that God is black, Christ is black, and we're the Israelites. He's the one that's doing that. Go ahead.
Thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will?
So who has resisted God? You can't resist God's will. Come on.
Nay, but, O man, who art thou, repliest against God?
So who are we, or who are anybody to reply against God? Come on.
Shall the thing form to him that formed it? Why hast thou made me thus?
Read that again.
Nay, but, O man, who art thou that repliest against God?
Come on.
Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus?
So can you tell your mother, you came out of your mother's womb, right? Can you tell your mom, why was I born this way, or why was I formed like this? No, that's just how it is. It's the same thing with God. Go ahead.
Hath not the potter power over the clay?
Hath not the potter power over the clay? Hath not the creator power over the creations? That's what it's saying. Go ahead.
Of the same lump.
Of the same lump that came up out of Rebekah. Come on.
To make one vessel unto honor.
Jacob made unto honor. Come on.
And another unto dishonor.
And another Esau made unto dishonor. Come on.
What if God, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering?
So God is enduring much long suffering. Although he's the one that's making their hearts hard, he's enduring with much long suffering, waiting for us to repent, waiting for us to get our minds right so we can be sealed. Those 12,000s out of each tribe, that's us. God is waiting on that. Go ahead. Long suffering.
The vessels of wrath fitted to destruction.
So the vessels of wrath that's fitted to destruction is whom? Esau. Okay, read.
And that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy.
The vessels of mercy is us. Go ahead.
Which he had afore prepared unto glory.
Which he had afore prepared unto glory when we was in the heavens with the Most High. All right. Get me the naval pilot's video. All right, take that down, get the next article that comes up right after that by Live Science. It's a Live Science article. Lemuel, I need you to read.
Top secret UFO files could gravely damage U.S. national security if released, Navy says.
So this top secret UFO file that they're making reference to is the interview that you brothers and sisters just heard. Go ahead.
In November 2004, several U.S. Navy pilots stationed aboard the USS Nimitz encountered a tic-tac-shaped UFO, darting and dashing over the Pacific Ocean in apparent defiance of the laws of physics. Navy officials dubbed the strange craft an unidentified aerial phenomenon.
That's another term that they describe the so-called UFOs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. Go ahead.
But they have remained mum on what exactly that phenomenon could have been.
They'll never give praises to the Most High God. They'll never say those are the chariots of God. Every year they're going to come up with a different acronym for it. Go ahead.
Now, unsurprisingly to anyone who's ever considered making a hat out of tinfoil, the military has confirmed they know more than they're letting on.
Come on.
In response to a recent Freedom of Information Act.
That's the Freedom of Information Act that I was telling you about since last week. Go ahead.
Request, a spokesperson from the Navy's Office of Naval Intelligence confirmed that the agency possesses several top secret documents and at least one classified video pertaining to the 2004 UFO encounter, Vice reported.
Go ahead.
According to the ONI spokesperson, these documents were either labeled secret or top secret by the agencies that provided them, and that sharing the information with the public would cause exceptionally grave damage to the national security of the United States.
But why is that? Why would it cause damage to the United States? Because people's going to realize exactly what those things are, all right? And it's not for the betterment of the United States. Go ahead.
These top secret files included several briefing slides about the incident provided to the ONI by an unnamed agency. Because ONI officials did not classify the slides personally, they are unable to declassify them, the spokesperson added. The ONI also admitted to possessing at least one video of unknown length classified as secret by the Naval Air Systems Command, NAVAIR. ONI didn't reveal whether this footage is the same 1-minute video that was leaked online in 2007 and widely released by the New York Times in 2017. However, in November 2019, several naval officers who witnessed the incident aboard the Nimitz told Popular Mechanics that they had seen a much longer video of the encounter that was between 8 and 10 minutes long.
8 and 10 minutes, of course. They edited it down. Go ahead.
These original recordings were promptly collected and erased by unknown individuals.
And those unknown individuals are the Edomites. Okay, the top tier Edomites who know what those things are, but they won't reveal it to the public. Okay, go ahead.
Who arrived on the ship?
And it's the same Edomites who sat down amongst Oppenheimer and Einstein, and they all understood that if these things, these UFOs, so they call them, came over here, that they would have to live according to the Torah. So they know exactly what it is. All right, go ahead.
Who arrived on the ship by helicopter shortly after the incident, one officer said. Luis Elizondo, a former Pentagon staffer who helped make the Navy video public, told Vice that people should not be surprised by the revelation that other videos exist and at greater length.
All right, let's drop that. Let's get the next article. They're always saying it would be damage to national security, a damage to the U.S., a threat to the U.S. I wonder why. All right, so, of course, they put the word alien there. Aliens turning off nuclear weapons to show humans they're useless. And yes, they are useless. Go down. All right. No, go back up. Go back up. Look at that. Look at that little creature to the left. They try to make them look all, so people think, is this a myth? It's all in your mind. Go down. All right. Go ahead, Lemuel.
Blow it up. Aliens have been turning our nuclear weapons on and off to show us how useless they are against their superior technology, a lobbyist has claimed.
What else is the other reason that they're turning them things off? Besides, playing around with Esau. A cat likes to play with food before they eat it, right? What's the other reason they're turning it off? The nuclear, we went over this last week. I want to see who's studying. Officer Lavi.
Shalom, Most High Christ bless. I wasn't here last week. I was sick, but they turned them out because it ain't time to destroy it.
Give me a scripture. Yet. You're right. Give me a scripture.
Did I say it?
Officer Zeph, help him.
Revelations chapter 7.
Chapter 7?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's read it. What verse?
Verse 1.
All right, Hezekiah, get it.
The book of Revelation, chapter 7 and verse 1. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth,
Come on.
Holding the four winds of the earth.
What's the four winds of the earth, brothers? Destruction, the armies. Go ahead.
That the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree.
Come on.
And I saw another angel ascending from the east.
Okay, stop right there. So it says the four angels is holding the four winds. Until what? Until we're sealed. Until we're sealed with the laws in our mind. 144,000. Once that number is reached, all destruction. Destruction from hell and back. Go ahead, Lemuel.
Aliens have been turning our nuclear weapons on and off to show us how useless they are against their superior technology, a lobbyist has claimed.
Come on.
Stephen Bassett is the founder of Paradigm Research Group, which has spent years trying to get the U.S. government to reveal the truth about extraterrestrials and UFOs.
Go ahead.
Which he prefers to call unidentified aerial phenomena, in line with the U.S. Navy's official definition.
Go down. Read.
Discussing what motives aliens might have, Stephen claimed several witnesses have observed them controlling our own nuclear weapons with ease.
Come on.
But he insists this is not intended as a threat, and actually shows us that ETs and unidentified aerial phenomena support nuclear disarmament.
Is that true according to the Bible? Because that's what Esau thinks, right? Just like we read it in Psalms, thou thoughtest that I was with thee, that we were one, right? Because that's their mind. Their mindset is, well, nah, they're here for our betterment. They're here for good, which we know is not true, because if that was true, they would have been revealed this information. Why they keep hiding it, popping up and stealing footage and erasing footage? Get me Isaiah 54:16. Leave that article right there. Get me Isaiah 54, verse 16.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 54.
Because
verse
Esau is
16.
saying that they support this armament of nuclear missiles. Let's see if that's biblical. Come on.
Behold, I have created the smith.
God says, behold, I have created the smith. Back then it was called the blacksmith, right? Now you have what? Scientists in this day and age. Scientists. Go ahead.
And that bloweth the coals in the fire.
That bloweth the coals in the fire. That bloweth the coals in the fire. Go ahead.
And that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster.
And I have created the waster. That's them nukes. That's those ICBMs. I have created the waster. Come on.
To destroy.
To destroy. Read that again where it says created the smith. Read it from the beginning again.
Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire.
It says, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. Hold that. Get me Isaiah 9 and 5. Same book. Just jump to chapter 9. And you're going to read verse 5.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 9 and verse 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise.
That's those noises from those horses, the chariots back in the days. Confused noise. Come on.
And garments rolled in blood.
Why? Because it was close quarters battle. Whether it was a sword, a spear, a dagger, sometimes bow and arrow. Go ahead.
But this,
that's why it's written in italics. Look at your Bible. The word this is a particular war. That's why it's written like that. But this, come on.
Shall be with burning and fuel of fire.
Shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Okay, that's not talking about ancient Babylon. Ancient Babylon was not overthrown with burning and fuel of fire. Jump back to what you had in Isaiah 54:16.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 16.
Come on.
Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire.
That's that same burning fuel of fire. Come on.
And that bringeth forth an instrument for his work.
And that's those beautiful ICBMs sitting in those silos, just chilling, waiting. Come on.
And I have created the waster.
And I have created the waster. The waster. Come on.
To destroy.
To destroy. Get me Psalms 91 and 6. Give me the book of Psalms 91 and verse 6.
The book of Psalm, chapter 91, verse 6. Nor the pestilence that walketh.
Start at verse 5.
Verse 5. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night.
Don't be afraid of the terror by night, especially if the Most High is our buckler and we living under these commandments and we're living by faith, right? And applying God's laws. Do not be afraid of the terror by night. Come on.
Nor for the arrow that flieth by day.
Nor for the arrow that flieth by day. What arrows that making reference to, brothers? Those missiles, right? Remember the movie with John Travolta and that other Edomite, Broken Arrow? It's the same thing, right? That's another name for missiles, arrow. Nor the arrow that flieth by day. Go ahead.
Nor the pestilence that walketh in darkness.
Nor the pestilence that walketh in darkness. Come on.
Nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday.
Nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. Right? The Most High is giving you a time of the destruction, whether it's noonday over here in the Western Hemisphere or over there on the East. He's calling that the waster. It's the same waster we read in Isaiah 54, verse 16. Okay? So continue with the article. Read.
He told Daily Star Online, they turned off our nuclear weapons repeatedly. Does that mean they are bad?
Yes. Go ahead.
The witnesses to the events, and there are many, generally believe that it is not an ominous thing, but rather it was a message. It wasn't a threat, but a message that these things are useless.
It's a threat, and they're telling you that it is useless because you're going up against the Almighty God. Go ahead.
As if they're saying, they certainly are useless against us. All you're going to do is kill yourselves, and we can't turn them off at will. And we can't turn them off at will.
Because once you hit the off button, the on button, you can't turn it off. All right? There's no detonation button for it. Come on. And even if there was, guess what? People are still going to get harmed. Go ahead.
Why don't you just get rid of them? That's how the witnesses, by and large, the majority, have interpreted this. This is not the first time it has been claimed that aliens have been shutting down nukes and showing an interest in military bases.
Come on.
Former U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Bob Jacobs gave a shocking interview on CNN's Larry King Live in 2008. He made the staggering claim that during a missile test, an object shot a beam of light at the warhead in what has been called the 1967 Maelstrom AFB UFO incident.
Wow. So it said that this chariot shot a beam of light at the warhead, the nuclear warhead, and turned it off. Turned it off. This is what they fear, brothers. This is what the nations fear. That's why they refuse to bring out the truth on what these things are and who we are and our connection to the chariots, to the Almighty God, all right? That's why we have to bring out this information. We the ones that got to bring this thing out. We can't wait on Esau to bring it out. Get me the YouTube video in the midst. Because they put it in their movies as well. Go ahead, blow that up.
Okay, well, we're...
That bad?
It's not good.
There's none so blind as those who will
So I'm going to
not
show
see.
you how Esau knows it's a threat. They are a threat. They're not here to be friends. They're a threat. Go ahead.
Open your eyes. Let the scales fall away. This has all been written. Revelations, chapter 15. And the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God and from his power. And no one could enter the temple until the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were completed.
Well, what are you saying? What are you proposing?
That we all prepare to meet our Maker.
That's right.
Oh, prepare
right about
to meet-
that. Go ahead. Come on.
Shit. Lady, your tongue must be hung in the middle so that it can waggle at both ends.
The end time has come, not in flames, but in mist.
Come here. Easy. How about if your ass prepares to meet my size 10 work boot? How about that?
Hey, there's no call for that.
Myron, please, calm your friend down.
I'm trying to save your soul, you stupid man. Doubters will doubt till the end. A monstrosity did pull that poor boy away. Things in the mist. Do you doubt? Do you? Then go and say how do you do.
Shut up, lady! For God's sakes!
Look, you'll have to stop now. You're scaring the children. They should be scared. Oh, yes.
This is the point right here.
They should. Their beautiful, pure little minds have been corrupted with lies.
Yes.
Lies.
What
All
lies?
this talk of a modern God.
Hold, press pause.
Or
what lies have they been corrupted with? That God is white, Christ is white. We see it all day. That we the Negroes, my Latino brothers are just spics and Hispanics. Their seed have been corrupted with lies. That's why, as the scripture says, surely they should know that they have inherited lies. Right? Go ahead. Come on.
no God. There is one God, the God of the Israelites. And he is a stern and vengeful God. And we have been mocking him far too long. And now he demands retribution in blood.
Oh, yeah.
It is time to declare yourselves. Take sides, the saved and the damned. Read the good book. It calls for expiation. Blood.
Oh, yeah.
Blood.
Whose blood? Their blood. The wicked. The wicked's blood. And some of these wicked Israelites. Come on.
Little Normie was first. And now God calls the rest of us. The bill is due. It must be paid. As Abraham...
One more time. No, let it go again.
Pure
One more time. Look
minds
that thing.
have been corrupt. No God. There is one God, the God of the Israelites. And he is a stern and vengeful God.
God
and
of
he is a
Israel.
stern
All praises to the
and
Lord.
vengeful
You know, that's
God.
the favorite part of my movie. That's it. I didn't even watch the movie. I just love this part right there. That's it. All praises. Get me Deuteronomy 10, verse 17. Okay? Because she said, guess what? There must be payback in blood. Some of you in here still don't believe that thing. Still playing Sunday school, some of y'all. There must be payback in blood. Come on. Deuteronomy 10, verse 17.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10 and verse 17. For the Lord your God is a God of gods and Lord of lords.
Come on.
A great God.
A great God. Come on.
A mighty and a terrible.
A mighty and a terrible God. That's why they called him what? El Shaddai or Allah Shadja, right? Great, dreadful, demon-like God. Flooded the whole planet Earth. Destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah with fire and brimstone. It's going to destroy America with fire and brimstone from those ICBMs. Okay, read that again. Read that again from the top. Come on.
Verse 17. For the Lord your God is God of gods and Lord of lords.
Come on.
A great God.
Read.
A mighty and a terrible. Which regardeth not persons.
Whether they're young or old, all of them got to get destroyed. Everybody's going dead. Come on.
Nor taketh reward.
Nor taketh reward. That's what they're afraid of. That's why they're trying to spin it around like a myth and hide videos and edit videos and so forth. All right? Now let's jump to Moabs. Let's jump to Moab. Let's jump to Moab. Show me the artwork. So the children of Moab and Ammon, guess what? They know about these chariots as well. This is from one of their artworks back in the, I believe, the 17 or 1600s. Go in. You could zoom in a bit. This is out of China. What do you see? Chariots in the sky. I heard a sister say, wow. Yes, it is wow. It's true. Okay. But, you know, through the mixing, especially with Genghis Khan, that's how they got their new complexion now. But this is how the ancient Moabites used to look. All right, this is their artwork. All right, you see the chariots to the left, the middle, and the right. Okay, get me the next one. Get me the next article about the airport. Open it up. True story. Go down. None of this is fictional. It says, what happened with the UFO that shut down the Chinese airport? Go down. Let me see if there's a video. Go down. Is there a video on this? Yes, just click that.
A UFO in China's skies forced Zhoushan Airport to stop operations on July 7th. Outbound flights were grounded after the unidentified flying object was detected by a flight crew. The incident has captured the attention of Chinese media. Theories about the UFO's identity are burning up on the internet as well. They include everything from a hidden U.S. bomber to an elaborate man-made hoax. For now, the UFO continues to be a mystery. A spokesman from China's Civil Aviation Administration confirmed to ABC News that the matter is under investigation.
UFO over China, according to reports in UFO.
Hey, press pause. That wasn't no damn U.S. bomber, nor no hoax. People seen it, and there was multiple angles of the video, different from different phones, different cameras, moving at the speed of light. That was even Mach speed. That wasn't speed of sound. That was the speed of light. That thing was fast as hell, about a blink of an eye. Come on.
Over China. According to reports, an airport in Inner Mongolia was forced to shut down to prevent passenger jets from crashing into the unidentified flying object. Witnesses reported a bright light shining in the sky before it suddenly vanished. On July 8th, Shaoshan International Airport was shut down because of a UFO. Officials later confirmed the object sighted was part of a military test. This latest show in the sky makes for the 8th reported UFO sighting in China since June.
This is another video of the same object. It's the one to the far right. It's not the one in the middle. It's the one to the far right. Just let it play a few, and then we're going to take it. You see that? You see that little dot to the far right? Y'all see it? That's what it's talking about. You see it moving? That's what it's talking about right there. All right, you can take that down. You can take that down. Get me the video with Korea. Now we're just touching on Moab's nasty behind. Go up, let's read the title. When dozens of Korean war GIs claimed a UFO made them sick. Go down, start reading, Lemuel.
In May 1951, 1 year into the Korean War, PFC Francis P. Wall and his regiment found themselves stationed near Chorwon, about 60 miles north of Seoul. As they were preparing to bombard a nearby village with artillery, all of a sudden, the soldiers saw a strange sight up in the hills, like a jack-o'-lantern come wafting down across the mountain.
That's why it says it's described as a fire enfolding itself. It's the same thing like a jack-o'-lantern. Go ahead.
What happened after the pulsing, attacking light, the lingering, debilitating symptoms would mystify many for decades to come.
Come on.
As the GIs watched, the craft made its way down into the village, where the artillery air bursts were starting to explode. We further noticed that this object would get right into the center of an air burst of artillery.
The same thing we showed last week in Iran under the Persians. Remember when they were shooting the 50 cal at the Chariot and it was missing? Sometimes it was going through it, or he was just dodging all of that. Same thing. It says this one was getting in the middle of the airburst of artillery, but remained unharmed. Why? Because it's a spiritual force. It's a spiritual thing. It's not carnal. Go ahead.
Wall later told John P. Timmerman of the Center for USO Studies in a 1987 interview. Suddenly, the object turned, Wall said. And whereas at first it had glowed orange, now it was a pulsating blue-green brilliant light. He asked his company commander for permission to fire at the object with armor-piercing bullets from an MI rifle. As the bullets hit the body of the craft, he recalled, they made a metallic ding. The object started behaving still more erratically, shunting from side to side as its lights flashed on and off.
That's the Chariots just playing with them, toying with them. Come on, playing hopscotch. Go ahead.
Wall's recollections of what happened next are stranger still. We were attacked, he said, swept by some form of array that was emitted in pulses, in waves that you could visually see only when it was aiming directly at you. Wow. That is to say, like a searchlight sweeps around and the segments of light, you would see it coming at you. He remembered a burning...
He remembered a what?
A burning, tingling sensation sweeping over his body. as if he were being penetrated. The men rushed into underground bunkers and peeped through the windows, watching as the craft hovered above them and then shot off at a 45-degree angle. It's that quick, he said.
Go ahead.
It was there and was gone.
Come on, like the video we just seen. It was there and boom, it was gone. Come on.
3 days after the incident, the entire company of men was evacuated by ambulance, with special roads cut to haul out those too weak to walk. When they finally received medical treatment, they were found to have dysentery and an extremely high white blood cell count.
That's what happens when you get too close to radiation, or you start to get sick as well. Go ahead.
To me, says Richard F. Haynes, a UFO researcher and former NASA scientist, they had symptoms that sounded like the effects of radiation.
That burning. Remember we read that burning earlier, right? Effects of radiation. All right, take that down. Get me 2 Ezra chapter 13. Let's explain this burning. 2 Ezra 13, 9 to 11. So they had effects, high white blood cells, right? Almost sounds like leukemia. High white blood cells and effects of radiation. Come on. 2 Ezra 13, you're going to read 9 to 11.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 13, verse 9. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand.
This is talking about the second coming of Christ when he what? Descends back to the earth, not as a man. Go ahead.
Nor held sword, nor any instrument of war.
So he's not coming back with an AR-15. He's not coming back with a sword. They said he didn't have a gun or a sword, no weapon in his hand. Go ahead.
But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire.
Blast of fire gives you radiation, burns you up like we just read. Come on.
And out of his lips a flaming breath.
Come on.
And out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests.
Come on.
And they were all mixed together. The blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest.
Read.
And fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived.
Just ashes to ashes and dust to dust. Come on.
But only dust and smell of smoke.
Come on.
When I saw this, I was afraid.
And when Ezra saw this in the vision, he was afraid. Get me Habakkuk 3 and verse 4. Habakkuk 3 and verse 4. Let's get some more. Come on. Habakkuk 3 verse 4. So y'all keep thinking this Bible is a myth. Go ahead. Go ahead. Bet your whole life on it. Habakkuk 3 verse 4. Come on.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 3 and verse 4. And his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand.
The horns coming out of his hands, that's power. That's the same lasers that we read about in 2 Ezra 13. Okay, read.
And there was the hiding of his power.
And there was the hiding of his power. Come on.
Before him went the pestilence, and burning coals went forth at his feet.
And burning coals went forth at his feet. Read on.
He stood and measured the earth.
Why does he have to stand and measure the earth? Why? Who knows? Brother right here again.
To be careful not to destroy it. That's how powerful he is.
Very good. To be careful not to destroy it, because that's how powerful Christ is going to be when he makes his second return. Read.
He beheld and drove asunder the nations, and the everlasting mountains were scattered.
And that's the kingdoms where it says the everlasting mountains were scattered. Like I said earlier, ashes to ashes and dust to dust. Is that it on that?
No, sir.
Read.
The perpetual hills did not bow. His ways are everlasting.
Okay, that's all I wanted on that. Get me Isaiah 47, 1 to 3. Isaiah 47, 1 to 3.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 47, verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin, daughter of Babylon.
Who is that talking about, brothers? What's the precept? Say it louder. Psalms 137 and verse 7. It's verse 7, right? Psalms 137, verse 7. Yes, the daughter of Babylon, Edom, who ought to be destroyed. Come on.
There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans.
Come on.
For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate.
Come on.
Take the millstones and grind meal.
Take the millstones and grind meal. Go ahead.
Uncover thy locks.
Uncover thy locks. Come on.
Make bare the leg.
Make bare the leg like the whore that she is. That's why it calls her the harlot, right? Come on, the great harlot in Revelation. Read.
Uncover the thigh.
Uncover your thigh. Go ahead.
Pass over the rivers.
Come on.
Thy nakedness shall be uncovered.
Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, meaning all the evils that America has done here and afar shall be uncovered. All their secrets shall be revealed. Go ahead.
Yea, thy shame shall be seen.
Come on.
I will take vengeance.
I will take vengeance. Come on.
And I will not meet thee as a man.
His Christ is coming back with power when he descends back into this earth. He said, I'm not coming back as a man. That same man that you were able to beat up and put on the cross, I ain't coming back like him. I'm coming back as an angelic being, that extraterrestrial that you're scared to death of. That's what Christ said. All praises to the Most High for that. Give me the next article. Read that title, Lemuel.
What did the ancients see? Unidentified flying objects that made an impact on early history.
Go down. Because I know when we went over Rome, I'm not sure if I went over this, but these are the different testimonials from historians and people of that time where the chariots were spotted during the Roman Empire. 218 BC, they called it a spectacle of ships gleamed in the sky. Down. 217 BC, at Arpi, I can't see. At Arpi round, they were called round shields were seen in the sky. 212 BC, at Riet, a huge stone was seen flying about. In 173 BC, at Lunovium, a spectacle of a great fleet was said to have been seen in the sky. 154 BC, at Compsa, weapons appeared flying in the sky. 104 BC, the people of Armeria and Tutter observed weapons in the sky rushing together from east and west, those from the west being routed. In 100 BC, probably at Rome, it said a round shield again. 43 BC, it called it a spectacle of defensive and offensive weapons was seen to rise from the earth to the sky with a clashing noise. All right, go down. So these are the people describing what they seen. The same way our forefathers describe it a certain way in the Bible, right? Go down. Go down. All right, right there. This is in Japan. Go ahead.
The first known investigation into an unidentified flying object. It seems that throughout much of antiquity, the UFO-like phenomena was merely recorded. The first known official investigation into a possible alien time traveler UFO presence was carried out in Japan in 1235. One night, a high officer named General Yoritsumi and his army were settling down in their camp when they spotted mysterious lights in the sky. The general and his troops watched in astonishment as these lights performed amazing acrobatic movements.
That's what we've seen in all the videos as we've seen thus far. Come on.
Such as circling endlessly and flying in loops. Baffled by the bizarre aerial display, General Yoritsumi ordered a scientific investigation of what he had just witnessed. The explanation Yoritsumi's scientists gave the general oozed with comfort and calm. The whole thing is completely natural. Yoritsumi was told about the mystery lights. It is only the wind making the stars
sway.
Making
the stars
sway.
That's what they described it as. They said the wind was moving the stars. And we know the wind doesn't move the stars, right? And this is a depiction right here in one of their scrolls. What do you see right there, brothers? That's a chariot right there. Go down. Okay, these are in the Japanese scrolls. These are in the Japanese scrolls. All right, take that down. Now this is where it gets good. This is where it gets good. This is what builds my faith over and over.
Native Americans have no fear of aliens.
So, Native Americans, right? Northern Kingdom of Israel says Native Americans have no fear of what?
Of aliens. Here's why.
Go down. Okay, let's blow that up. So could you see it?
No, sir.
Is that better?
There we go.
All right, come on.
Deeply spiritual cultures remember at a time when people from the stars freely interacted with members of the human species.
The people from the stars are making reference to the angels. Go ahead.
Before intrepid and greedy Europeans discovered the Americas.
All praises. Whoever wrote this article, they in the spirit already. Before intrepid and greedy Europeans, come on,
discovered the Americas, the land was populated by a variety of cultures encompassing millions of souls.
Come on.
Sadly, the near annihilation of Native Americans has also meant the disappearance of ancient knowledge that we might never win back.
Come on.
Therefore, it is fortunate that the efforts of the survivors have included the passing down of stories from time immemorial, and many of these talk about the star people.
Come on.
A term that groups various beings who came from the sky to share a connection with humans who were worthy of their teachings.
And that's us. That's the Israelites. Come on.
The ancient world was in contact with a multitude of advanced extraterrestrials, as evidenced by the rich collection of stories detailing these interactions. Many cultures, separated by thousands of years, refer narratives of flying objects and technology so advanced it could have well been magic.
Come on.
These stories are particularly strong within the mythos of the Native American tribes.
Read.
My people tell of star people who came to us many generations ago.
Read on.
Richard Wagamis of the Wabaseemung First People writes, the star people brought spiritual teachings and stories and maps of the cosmos, and they offered these freely. They were kind, loving, and set a great example. When they left us, my people say there was a loneliness like no other.
Read on. Go down.
He continues, if star people did come to the OB way, where did they go? Where did they come from? Who brought teachings to them? What scientific magic did they own that allowed them to make such an incredible journey? And is it possible for us?
And this is the same thing that Esau is saying today. Who made these chariots? These UFOs, these vehicles that we see. How can we replicate that? How can we mimic that? It's the same thing Esau is saying. Go ahead.
The peaceful Hopi people believe their ancestors came from the Pleiades.
The Pleiades.
Pleiades.
The peaceful Hopi people are Native American Indians who are linguistically tied to the Aztecs. I'm going to repeat that again. They're linguistically tied to the Aztecs, all right? The tribe of Issachar. It says the peaceful Hopi people believe their ancestors came from the Pleiades. Repeat that again. Keep that word in mind. The Pleiades. Go ahead.
And the general demeanor of Pleiadian aliens is reflected in the Hopi lifestyle.
Come on.
Could this mean their Genesis stories hold truth in them? It seems so.
So these are, take that off right there. All right. This is called a petroglyph, what you're looking at. It exists over there in the east, and over here you can find them in Mexico. You can find them in Arizona. You can find them in different parts of the world. They're called petroglyphs. Even the old ancient Hebrew, the Lashuan Kodesh, was written in petroglyphs, all right? Look what they drew, the Hopi people, all right? Look at that. All right, so I could get a good. These are their drawings, okay? Blow it back up so he could continue reading. Go down. Read.
Dakota legends make reference to the same star cluster. Tiami.
But the same star cluster is what? Come on. Come on, speak up. The Pleiades. Come on.
Tiami, they call them as being their ancestors' primal home. Similarly, the Cree believe that in a time before history, their ancestors arrived from the stars in spirit form.
Come on.
Only to become humans on Earth.
Read.
Native legends of the Lakota people speak of mysterious celestial beings that manifested themselves as spheres of light.
That's what we've seen in all the videos. Spheres of light. Go ahead.
And would often choose particular children to follow them on a journey through space and time.
That's the children of Israel. That whole thing about journey through space and time, that's for another topic. All I could say is think about what Uriel said. Go ahead.
Native Americans perceive the issue of alien visitation and even abduction in a more spiritual manner. As Plains Cree author Stephanie Woltuni explains in a UFO Digest article.
Go down, read the bold part.
Far from being anything to be feared, star people was just another term I grew up around. Woltuni writes, I remember listening in awe and fascination at the thought of us having relations that lived off and outside our world.
Come on.
And sometimes spoke to them in my silent moments at night. I wanted to know who they were and what they looked like, if they had families like us, etc., etc. It wasn't until my later teens that I discovered that people from the dominant cultures were talking about the same people as my elders did.
Come on.
Though each side's sense of perception of these people seemed radically different from one another.
Go down. Let me see if there's more. Okay, right here. There's another petroglyph. This is a real picture. It's not a comic. Go up. Go up and see. It says flying shields. That's how they describe them because that's what they knew. And that's it. All right.
Yeah, that was the same description that we saw in during the time of Rome. It said 1253.
The
and
flying
it said flying shield.
Yep, same thing. Get me the picture, the next picture from the tribe of Issachar, from our Aztec brothers. All right, look at this woodwork right here. What you guys see at the bottom. Okay, all right, that's a chariot. Very good. All right, go to the next picture. Let's read it. Read that.
From winneton.bloggers.com. Disclosure of classified X documents and archaeological Aztec origin objects found in Ojuelas de Jalisco, Mexico. Aztec disclosure of classified X documents and archaeological Aztec origin objects found in Ojuelas de Jalisco, Mexico. Alien UFO sightings.
Yes. So they have records of it too. And we read earlier that the Hopi is related to the Aztecs, all right, linguistically, right? Because they're all from the 10 tribes. Get me the next article. Read this. Blow this up. Blow it up. Just read the title.
Pleiades Mythology, 7 Sisters.
Okay. Read the first paragraph.
Ancient civilizations looked to the heavens as guides for their daily lives. They attributed many things to these gods who were both God and bad, or I guess good and bad, kind and harsh.
Go down. Just go down. Go down. A little faster. Keep going. Wait. Go back up. Start right there. Native Americans.
Native Americans believed in constellations and created ancient star maps. Legend has it that they exist at the...
Hold on, I'm sorry. Go back up a little bit. Go back up. Did I miss something? Go down. Go ahead. Start right there. Go ahead.
Native Americans believed in constellations and created ancient star maps. Legend has it that they exist at the center of the earth or Turtle Island. That beyond them was the sky, and that beyond the sky were dimensional portals or sky holes.
Dimensional portals or sky holes, right?
Beyond the dimensional portals was an area that they call the Ocean of Pitch, where the beauty of the night sky and the galaxies spun out towards them. Beyond that were the boundaries of the universe. And that set along the rim at the boundaries of the universe were 4 different extraterrestrial groups.
Go down. Read.
At the destruction at each of the ages of mankind, the people that were pure of heart went down into the buxom of the earth, and there remained protected. According to them, they dwelt in the center of the earth with a group of beings that they call the ant people.
The ant people were the same angels, all right? But they described them as ant people. I don't know why. Go ahead.
Drawings of the ant people are remarkable, similar to the gray aliens.
And you can find them in the petroglyphs, the way they draw them. Go ahead.
Large heads, little stocky bodies, long spindly fingers, in some cases 4, 5, or 6 digits.
Come on.
Some of these drawings have the indication of telepathic thought waves coming from the beings.
Read.
Early Dakota stories speak of the Tiami, home of the ancestors, as being the Pleiades.
So we're talking about the angels of God still, all right? They call them ant people. They have different names for them. But the early Dakota, Northern Kingdom again, stories speak of the Taimi, home of the ancestors, as being the Pleiades. The Pleiades is the stars, all right? When you look at Pleiades, it's a constellation of stars, also made reference to as the 7 daughters or 7 sisters. Go ahead.
Astronomy tells us that the Pleiades rise with the sun in May, and that when you die, your spirit returns south to the 7 sisters.
Also known as whenever you hear 7 sisters, is making reference to the Pleiades. Go ahead.
The Hopis call the Pleiadians the
Pleiadians were the angels that come from there, come from that star realm. Come on.
The Chuakan, meaning those who cling together.
Come on.
They consider themselves direct descendants of the Pleiades.
So this particular sect of Northern Kingdom, right, from the tribe of Gad, the Hopis, they considered themselves direct descendants of the Pleiadians. Go ahead.
Hopi prophecy and legend.
Read. This is the part that I want right here.
The Navajos,
Gad,
named the Pleiades, the Pleiades, the sparkling suns, or the Deliahi, the home of the black god.
The home of the black god. I gotta say it like TD Jakes, right? God, the black god. This is coming from Northern Kingdom, Israelites. These are their ancestral oral traditions, oral records, and even written, because they got the petroglyphs to back it up. Take this down. Now, get me the next article. Come on. Next article, Egypt. Express.co.uk, Egypt. Long time ago, there was not too long ago, couple of, maybe 2 decades ago, there's a tribe in Africa called, I think the Dagundu or Dudundu. I can't pronounce it right. They're from Mali. Okay, we don't know if they're Hamitic or Shemitic, but they claim there's a constellation called Sirius, right? And they're saying that beyond Sirius there's a star where their ancestors come from. And Esau laughed them to scorn, because they're still running around looking bugged out, still got, grass leaves around their genital areas and stuff like that. So they was like, what? What are they talking about? Come to find out, many years later, when NASA was doing investigations and experiments, found out that there is a star behind Sirius. And this is something that this tribe was telling them from a long time ago. But they was looking at them as primitive information, primitive knowledge. Why? Because they're Africans. All right? Now, read the title. Come on.
Egypt Revelation. Great Pyramid of Giza's correlation to Orion proved.
Another Orion. So you have Pleiades, then you have Orion. Orion is another set of stars. 3 stars. It's actually 3. Okay? Come on.
Conventional archaeology tells us the Great Pyramids at Giza were built as tombs for the pharaohs of ancient Egypt, constructed during the Old Kingdom's 4th dynasty, 4,500 years ago.
Come on.
The monuments have been shrouded in mystery for millennia.
Come on.
Built with incredible accuracy and containing many puzzling features.
Come on.
The true purpose of the pyramids has inspired endless speculation.
Go down.
Go back up a little bit.
Just read that.
Okay. The theory claims there is a correlation between the position.
Hold on. Is there a way you can get rid of those ads without messing up the screen? Okay, just read it.
The theory claims there is a correlation between the position of the 3 largest pyramids at Giza and the 3 stars comprising the belt in the constellation of Orion.
Come on.
It is thus claimed that there is a purposive relationship between the pyramids of the 4th dynasty on the Giza Plateau and the alignment of 3 stars comprising, which is commonly referred to as Orion's belt.
Go down. Come on.
The theory, originally proposed by the new Egyptologist Robert Bouvel in 1983, noted how the smallest of the 3 pyramids at Giza, the Pyramid of Menkaure, was offset slightly from the other 2.
Come on. So this is in replication. They're saying that whoever built these pyramids built them in replication to the Orion belt, which are the 3 stars, because it's 100% adjacent to the stars the way they were aligned up. Okay, so that's the knowledge that the Egyptians had at that time, and Israel was probably in that thing too during that captivity. I believe that's the old kingdom or new kingdom. I'm not sure. I think it's the old kingdom. All right, drop that. So we read about the Hopi, we read about the Aztecs, we read about the Dakota, tribe of Gad, different tribes of Gad making reference to the stars, the Pleiades, and the Orion. Give me 1 Chronicles 12:32. 1 Chronicles chapter 12, verse 32. All praises to the Most High. This information is coming out, and he's increasing our understanding in these last days. Because if this was about 20 years ago, we'd have been reading this and would have been lost. 1 Chronicles chapter 12, verse 32. Come on.
The book of 1 Chronicles chapter 12 and verse 32.
Mm-hmm.
And of the children of Issachar.
And of the children of Issachar. We read that Hopi. What? Hopi is linguistically tied to the Aztecs, right? This is talking about the northern kingdom. And of the children of Issachar, come on.
Which were men that had understanding of the times.
They had understanding of the times, meaning the stars, the moons, the signs of heaven. They had understanding of the times. Come on.
To know what Israel ought to do.
To know what Israel ought to do. And it's the same signs that the Most High showed them during what period of time? Who knows? Officer Zeph.
When Northern Kingdom traveled to this side of the world.
Yes. What scripture can I go to?
2nd Ezra Chapter 13, verse 40 through 45.
Yes, let's read that. Excellent. You in the spirit, brother. I knew you was going to get that right too, by the way. Come on. 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 40. Come on.
The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes.
So who's the topic? The 10 tribes. Issachar included. Gad included, Ephraim included. Jump down to verse 44.
Verse 44. For the Most High then showed signs for them.
For the Most High showed signs for them, using the stars, using the constellations. Okay? Issachar understood that thing, and he taught his brothers. Go back to 1 Chronicles 12:32. Come on.
1 Chronicles chapter 12, verse 32.
Hmm?
And of the children of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times.
Understanding of the times, right? Of what Israel should do, where they should go, right? Get me Sirach 43. Sirach 43. You're going right back to Chronicles after that again. Sirach 43, I want you to start at verse 6.
Second Ecclesiastica, also Sirach, chapter 43 and verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of time.
For a declaration of times. The moon is for a declaration of times. Come on.
And a sign of the world.
And a sign of the world. Go back. The moon is in the heaven with the stars. He made it for declaration of times, a sign of the world. Go back now. 1 Chronicles 12:32 again.
The book of 1 Chronicles chapter 12 and verse 32.
Come on.
And of the children of Issachar.
And of the children of Issachar. Come on.
Which were men that had understanding of the times.
To
know what Israel ought to do.
And to know what Israel ought to do. Job 38. Job chapter 38. I want you to start at verse 31.
Job chapter 38 and verse 31. Canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades?
Can you bind the sweet influences of Pleiades? That's making reference to those constellations, the stars, the constellation of Pleiades. Come on.
Or loose the bands of Orion?
Or loose the bands of Orion. Whenever you see the Orion belt, is always 3. Those stars, those 3 stars are always together. Who is speaking to Job here? God, because Job was questioning God. Okay, he was getting a little bit weak in his faith. Read that again from the top.
Canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades? Or loose the bands of Orion?
Come on.
Canst thou bring forth Mazzaroth?
That's a planet. Come on.
In his season?
Come on. There's certain planets, certain stars and certain planets. You can see them depending on the time of day. And I'm talking about with the naked eye and also with the telescope. From the you can see them from here from earth, depending on the time of day or season. Read that again.
Canst thou bring forth Mazzaroth in his season?
Come on.
Or canst thou guide Arcturus with his sons?
That's Arcturus is another star. Read verse 33.
Knowest thou the ordinances of heaven?
Mm-hmm.
Canst thou set the dominion thereof in the earth?
Now get me Job 9:9. So Job is giving us some clues here. Okay, and these constellations are still here today. All right, America, they know exactly where they're at, where it's located, and the purpose. Notice what the Hopi said. They said they believe it's a portal. It's a portal between the black gods and the people here. It's a traveling portal. It's a traveling mechanism. Go ahead.
The book of Job, chapter 9, verse 9.
Come on.
Which maketh Arcturus, Orion, and Pleiades, and the chambers of the south.
Start at verse 8. I'm sorry. Start at verse 8.
Verse 8. Which alone spreadeth out the heavens.
So God said he alone spreads out the heavens. Come on.
And treadeth upon the waves of the sea.
Come on.
Which maketh Arcturus.
Arcturus is a constellation. Come on.
Orion.
Another constellation.
And Pleiades.
Constellation.
And the chambers of the south.
Come on.
Which doeth great things past finding out.
Come on.
Yea, and wonders without number.
And yea, wonders without numbers. Get me the next scene. Keep that thought in mind with the Pleiades and the Orion. Keep those in mind. All right, don't forget. Get me the next scene. How many of y'all seen Glass? All right, so y'all should know what this movie's about. Right? At the end over here, Mr. Glass gets killed. And you can see this whole movie was about basically Esau and Jacob. Esau trying to hide who the super beings or the meta humans they call it were in the movie. The same way in America how they try to hide who we are. They go through great lengths, crafty counsel to hide who you brothers are. You can read about that in Psalms the 83rd chapter. Okay? All the nations conspiring together to prevent you from waking up. To prevent you from realizing that God looks like you, Christ looks like you. It's a great conspiracy, okay? Art imitates life. Life imitates art. Press play.
So in this scene right here, this is where Dr. Eli Staples is having a conversation with Elijah. Elijah is dying now because of his wounds. And this is what she told him. She said, they got it wrong in the comics. They talk about secret evil groups trying to stop the heroes. I don't think we're particularly evil, and we don't choose sides. We try to stop both of you. If there is one of you, the opposite of you appears, meaning if there's a hero, there's always a villain. In this case, you have the Israelites as the heroes, and you have Esau as the villain. Then she goes on and says, it escalates. We step in. There just can't be gods amongst us. So even the nations, they know when they put together these movies, a lot of it is based upon scripture, hence the name Elijah coming back to bring to remembrance the superpowers that a lot of these superhumans possess. He's trying to bring it to light that these people do exist. She says, there just can't be gods amongst us. It's not fair. It has worked just fine for 10,000 years our way, meaning Esau's way. Take consolation in the fact that you were right about your theory. Be at peace. She says be at peace because Elijah was dying. But the reason I wanted to bring out this particular scene is the lengths and the depths that Esau is going through to stop the exposure of so-called UFOs. They know all of it is biblical. They know what these unidentified flying objects are. Who are they coming for? Why are they coming to and fro from the earth? And they know exactly what they look like, that these extraterrestrial beings are black people. And they're going through great lengths to stop this truth from coming out, because we are the gods that are walking amongst people. Like the scripture says, you are gods, but you shall die like men.
Close that. Give me the next video. The one right after that. Devil that the Bible speaks of. So this is from the movie too. This is from the same movie. Notice what's written. Wow, if they ever discover that they are gods, we will lose everything. In that time, we already discovered that. That's why there's the rise of the Israelites, wherever you see. YouTube, Periscope, Facebook, we all over the place. Not just this camp, but all the other camps. All right, but we know that the Most High has bestowed much favor upon Israel united in Christ. Come on.
There are unknown forces that don't want us to realize what we're
Stop. This is Mr. Glass speaking. He said there are forces amongst us who don't want us to realize who we are. Go ahead.
They don't want us to know the things we suspect are extraordinary about ourselves are real. I believe that if everyone sees what just a few people become when they wholly embrace their gifts, others will awaken.
He said he perceives when people come together with their gifts, others will awaken. All right, Zephaniah 2 verse 1. The Most High is raising up a small army, and guess what? The whole world sees it. It's going to cause other brothers to repent and other sisters to repent and come in. Come on.
Belief in oneself is contagious. We give each other permission.
You heard what he said? What did he just say? Belief in oneself is contagious. Believing in yourself, brothers, is contagious. You better believe that thing because it's absolutely true. Go ahead. The evidence is here. 2003, right? 2003, I believe, Israel United in Christ was started. From one man, Elder Nathaniel. Look at the fruits. From him believing in himself and him believing in the Bible. Look how many brothers and sisters woken up. Belief in oneself is contagious. Go ahead.
Oneself is contagious. We give each other permission to be superheroes. We will never awaken otherwise. Whoever these people are who don't want us to know the truth.
Whoever these people are who don't want us to know the truth. Come on, that's all the other nations. Go ahead. It says they will lose. At the end, he says they will lose. Get the next video. Next video, please. Is this what I wanted? Go ahead, press play.
These patients were very disturbed. Let me just simply state, everything that occurred was related to drugs in their systems.
So this is the cover up. This is the cover up, right? They're saying, they weren't meta-humans. They weren't gods amongst us. They were disturbed. Okay, it's like the same thing they're doing with us in the media. They're not the Jews. They're not the Israelites. They're black. They're black Hebrew Israelites. I don't pay attention to those guys. They're crazy. They're a cult. Go ahead. The same thing they're doing with the Chariots. Oh, it's a UAE. Oh, extraterrestrial. Oh, little green men 2 feet tall. Oh, it's not real. It's a myth. That's what they try to do. Go ahead.
So in this scene right here, you have Dr. Eli Staple inside of the cafe. She waits until everybody leaves, the customers. Then those who are sitting down, this is a group of people who know what's going on, secret society. Everybody was in cahoots with the plan to eliminate the mutants, the people with special powers. And this is what she says. She says, all 3 were real, quite special actually. If you approve, I will move to the next city. Meaning her job there was done and she was going to go on to the next city where there were more mutants. Dr. Eli Staples says, no one saw them. I know what my charge is. Convince them. This is the most humane and effective method. We're not executioners and we don't need martyrs. If that fails, use the machine. And I understand how important what we're doing is maintaining balance, keeping order. So these are some great similarities to brothers and sisters in the truth, how they try to demonize the resurrection of the Israelites. They try to say that we're either a cult or black Hebrew Israelites, meaning we're fake Jews and we're not the real thing. So it's the same thing that Dr. Eli Staple and her constituents were doing in this movie. They were trying to persuade the public that these superhuman beings, these mutants, did not exist. And in all actuality, they did exist. Elijah Price, played by Samuel L. Jackson, he says that there are unknown forces that don't want us to realize what we are truly capable of. They don't want us to know the things we suspect are extraordinary about ourselves or real. I believe that if everyone sees what just a few people become when they wholly embrace their gifts, others will awaken. Belief in oneself is contagious. We give each other permission to be superheroes. We'll never awaken otherwise. Whoever these people are who don't want us to know the truth, today they lose. As you watch on in this movie, you'll see the scene where Dr. Eli Staple walked into the comic book store and she overheard two customers in there talking about how the superhero, he always wins, meaning that of Elijah. He fooled everybody into thinking that he died in vain and his plot was not carried out. In all actuality, all Elijah wanted to do is to expose the existence of the mutants to the world, in which he did. He got everything on camera, everything on film. That's why the bishop always says, if you don't have it recorded, then it didn't happen.
Thank God for the camera, right? Y'all alone? Thank God for the camera, right? Everything is being recorded. And she walks in that little hallway y'all seeing, and she screams, because now the whole world found out about these metahumans. All right, it's the same thing Esau is trying to do with the Chariots. He's trying to prevent the whole world from finding out who they are and who we are. Okay, and most importantly, our connection to those chariots. Get me Matthew 17, verse 20. But through faith, patience, we shall receive salvation. Matthew 17 and verse 20.
The book of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 20. And Jesus said unto them, because of your unbelief.
Because of your unbelief. Some of you after today's class, even after part 1, some of y'all don't believe. Some of y'all still thinking like Esau. Make believe. All right, what are they talking about? Chariots, clouds, and we're the people of God. To many of you brothers and sisters, this is still Sunday school. And we know it. Only time will tell for some of y'all. Go ahead. Matthew 17. Come on.
For verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed.
Even if you had a little faith as a grain of mustard seed. Go ahead.
Ye shall say unto this mountain.
You can look at a mountain. Come on.
Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you.
Because remember what we read in Isaiah the 13th chapter. When we speak God's words, the chariots activate. It's not literally going in front of a mountain and saying, remove yourself and the mountain is going to move. We know that ain't going to happen. But when we read the Bible, you have catastrophic events that happen. Earthquakes, volcano eruptions, any little thing you could think about, all right? The prophecies always come true when the people of the book speak it. But first, you have to have faith. You must have faith. Get me Isaiah 13. You finished verse 20?
Yes, sir.
Go to Isaiah 13 and verse 1. You have to have faith. Faith in fasting, praying, whatever you want to see. The Most High will show it to you. The Most High will show it to you, but you got to have faith. Come on.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 13 and verse 1. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see.
Come on.
Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain.
The banner is the Bible. The high mountain is Babylon, America. Go ahead.
Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand.
That's what we do every Saturday, right? When we go out to camp. Shake the hand. Come on.
That they may go into the gates of the nobles.
Come on.
I have commanded my sanctified ones.
I have commanded my sanctified ones. Who are the sanctified ones, brothers? Israelites. Go ahead.
I have also called my mighty ones.
Who are the mighty ones? Who? The angels are the mighty ones. I have called my mighty ones. They're the ones that's going to move the mountains on this side. All right, this is talking about before we get saved. But after we get saved, guess what? We're going to have the ability to tell the mountain, move, remove yourself. And God said he's going to make it happen. But right now on this side, our spiritual connection is keeping the commandments. And God says we can do that with faith. If you have faith, you'll be able to do these things. Read that again, Hezekiah.
Verse 3, I have commanded my sanctified ones.
Come on.
I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness.
That's talking about the angels. They're the ones that rejoice in his highness. He said he calls them for his anger. Calls them for his anger. Okay? That's why you have earthquakes in various places, volcano eruptions, and so forth. Let me show y'all something real quick. Let me just send this real quick. I wasn't going to bring this out. But let me see.
Yes, sir. I remember one class you went on a mission, and y'all did something in Mexico or something, and then there was a big old hailstorm all over the news.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Okay, the hailstorm, that's basically Isaiah 13. Going out, teaching the word, and the Most High is basically making things come to pass to show that the word is true, showing our people that they got to wake up. That's in Puerto Rico. There was earthquakes left and right, even when we were there. And when we left, there was earthquakes. Okay? It's the Most High that's doing these things. Show this in Mexico real quick. Go ahead. This is a volcano eruption. Y'all tell me what y'all see. Read Isaiah 13. They still don't believe. Some of them are going to leave, break the Sabbath, adultery, lie, steal, gossip. Read Isaiah 13, please.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 13 and verse 3. I have commanded my sanctified ones.
Come on.
I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger.
And I've also called my mighty ones for my anger. But notice the steps that it takes. The sanctified ones have got to be the ones that go out, teach the word, and the angels make it happen. Why? Because they're activated when we speak it. That's the connection we have. Okay? That's the connection that we have with God, but you got to believe it. Hold your point. I'll answer it after. All right? That is the connection that we have. Now, I said all of that just to bring it to this. So, Yahalom and I went to Mexico to visit Officer Esdras. Right? Y'all brothers know Officer Esdras, right? We went over there and we prayed and fasted because remember, I'm not sure if you remember what Deacon Aitan said in one of his classes, but he was speaking about the Chariots, and he said, I was speaking with Captain Isaac, and he said he would not do IFO class part 2 until he sees one. The reason I said that is because what's the point of doing a class if the people that you're teaching are not doing the things to inhabit the IFOs? You'll teach law, statutes, and commandments, and you'll get 100 views. You talk about chariots or anything exciting or some kind of controversy or whatever, you get 1 million views. But you teach the law, statutes, and commandments to the children of Israel, it's nothing. What's the point of talking about chariots when you're not doing the things to inhabit those chariots? That's why I said that. But then I said, you know what? Faith. Maybe if they see it, they'll have faith. So we prayed and fasted, and our objective was to go to this particular area in Texas that I may see it again for myself. This would be the 3rd time that I've seen it. I saw it twice in New York, but it wasn't recorded. That's why earlier I told y'all, hello, thank God for the camera. Because if it wasn't for the camera, because the Jews need a sign. If it wasn't for the camera, many of y'all wouldn't believe. But the Most High had it worked out to where Esau invented the camera. All right? So we may see a lot of glorious things in these last days. So let's go to the next video. Yeah, explain what's going on. Like I said, we were in Texas. We didn't go outside of the state. And the constellations was to our left. But I'm gonna bring you up to speed. The constellations was to our left. You could literally see it. I wish we would have got that on camera. But it was the Pleiades and the Orion. You could clearly see it. More the Pleiades, though. And there was some damn Edomites there. So we were blowing up the trumpets, right? At first we were blowing up the trumpets, and they was complaining. Why are they doing that? Stop it. What are they doing? Shut the hell up. The hell you going to tell us what we doing with our shofar? The hell you gonna tell us what we doing? So we decided to leave from amongst them and walk further down, right? It was like a little terrain. It was high. The altitude was high. It was very high. We had to drive up to get this place. It's almost like we was driving up a mountain. So
like
go ahead.
6,800 square, I think 6,800 feet.
6,800 feet.
Down here.
Okay.
Yeah, so just to bring up to what Captain was saying, can you turn me up? Unless I just sound low from this side. I don't know. All right, so
And we just came off a fast. Yeah, I was fasting for this particular purpose.
Oh, praise. Yeah, we
Okay.
was fasting out there. What we did was we sent up the prayers first. We had our trumpets with us. And we blew up the trumpets. We asked the Lord to show us something. Now, for the first, I think it was the first 3 to 4 minutes, we weren't seeing nothing. And y'all, it's like 20 degrees outside.
Hey, but the 3 still lights, those were chariots. I was telling Ezra, hell no, those ain't chariots.
Yeah.
Those look like car lights. But then I realized we went up 6,000 something feet and we was looking straight. It's a straight shot. Then you had the little red satellite to the left. That was a satellite or something like that. That kept on blinking. It was a red satellite.
One, yeah, it was to the far, I believe it was the far right, or I think it was the far left.
Yeah.
It was the far left. And then when we seen the chariot action, as y'all gonna see, we was looking at the mountains, by the way, the mountains of Mexico. And we're looking, and all the chariots that y'all about to see, it was all popped up on that side.
And you had the three that was still, so they couldn't have been cars. Because
No,
cars
not at all.
move.
No, not at
So
all.
you had 3 that was still, and then 1 decided to dance in joy. Go ahead, come on.
Go ahead, you can push play. All right, so where's the volume at?
Any volume? Hey man, I can't stand these, so press pause, I'm sorry. How the hell they gonna tell us to stop blowing the shofar? What are they doing? Why are they doing that? Stop! Shut the hell up, bunch of retards. I had to get away from them, man. I was like, yo, let's move. I don't care if there's snakes down there or in the midst of those cactuses or whatever was on that mountain. Let's just go down there. Go ahead.
And it's gonna be dark.
Hey, Cap, they
from the
spirits
camera.
knew what you was doing.
Yeah.
They
That's
spirits
what they was
knew
trying to
you
get
were
us to
doing.
stop.
Right.
Stop it. He sounded like something was wrong with him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, stop it with a list.
Hey.
Stop it. Stop. Shut the hell up. Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna just talk as the video plays. It's dark right now because, of course, it's coming from my camera. It was out at nighttime. All right.
Yes, sir.
At this point, I was like,
They get bigger.
Y'all see that?
at
So
this
that's the-
point, before that, I was like, yo, y'all gonna make me look like dumbasses.
Yeah.
I fasted and
No,
prayed like
we're- I
I'm
see.
gonna have faith.
Get up here, officer.
Faith, like Laba talks about. Gotta have faith, brother. We gonna see some chariots. Come on.
So y'all see a couple of them. I honed in on one specifically that was changing colors and moving a specific
Y'all
way.
seen that? Back it up a bit. It went from red to light. Had a like an orange aura. Come on.
See. Get up here, officer.
Right there, y'all.
Yeah, that's better if y'all can hit the lights. That probably help the brothers and sisters out. Y'all can hit
Right
it.
now, unless that's a standing light.
So it's that dot, because everybody see it? Don't worry, I'm going to get closer. All right, don't worry.
I think I
Just
got that standing
be
one.
patient. And so I'm holding the camera still in one position. As you see, the chariot is actually moving. I'm holding the camera in the same spot.
Yes.
That thing's
It
moving.
was there in the mouth of 2 witnesses. It's moving. Y'all could probably see it moving from where y'all
Y'all
sit.
see it? It's orange,
That
then
thing's
it goes to
moving. I
that
got
yellow
it.
tint.
It's a little dot though.
And you see it
Can't see it
again.
perfect.
I'm holding the camera in the same spot.
Yeah, that thing's moving. I'm holding the camera still too.
Yeah, and I said it. You know, we was out there.
All of those are chariots, Captain.
Look,
Got those over there too.
all of these lights wasn't there. After we blew up the trumpets, they came up. And just to go off to pause it real quick. Pause it real quick. And just to back up, Captain, this is my second time going out there. I've been out there the first time. And me, I was with
Jacob,
Officer Saw,
Officer
who was
Jacob.
out there. It was a storm. Yeah, soldiers was here. We saw it the first time. So this time again, I'm telling y'all, it is what it is. Go ahead.
Right above the.
And it's a hit or
they're
miss.
in the-
Sometimes
they're
you'll
in the
go
sky
and they
right
won't be there.
One thing right there to the right.
You got it? And it looked like
Yeah.
it's changing colors.
It's moving
Changing,
too.
bro.
I'm holding the camera
Moving
in the
and
same
changing
spot, but
colors.
on my on the phone it's moving up and down.
So that's either like an orange
orange, and then it turns into the.
You see that? Y'all see that, brothers and sisters?
Yes, sir.
See how it's going down? Then it's gonna scoop, and then boom.
One of the times we came out here, Kevin, one of them was different than the rest of them. It looked like a big old ball of fire.
Damn.
It's still some more here.
If we can get one like we seen at the pool before, that'd be dope.
Oh, yeah.
I had one. It was a flame flew over like a shooting
Yeah,
star.
this is us just having a conversation. It should be coming up.
There's more in this video?
Yes, more here. I got the zoom in at the end. How close are we toward the? Oh yeah, it's about to should be coming up here in a second. If you could slide it to where you see the letters pop up at the bottom, where right there, where it says zoomed in. Okay. So what I did was, y'all know how I am, man. I zoomed in. I had to see if I can see something myself. You know what I'm saying? So I cropped on the film. Pause it.
Got it? And
Pause it. Go back. So what I did was I paused it, and I sat on the computer, play, pause, and I was getting just like this.
Y'all
This is
see
what I
the
was
pulsing?
looking for.
You see the lights emanating from
Stop.
it? Just
Oh.
like all of those
Oh.
articles that we read. It's the same thing. Okay, we seen it with our own eyes, and we recorded it for you. So you must build your faith. Go ahead.
And y'all see the middle, right? That flame, it looks like it's real hot. On my computer, I can see it. You can't see it because what I did was I had to zoom in so, things start to pixelate. But as I'm looking on my computer, you see the flare. Like, you ever seen the sun close and the flares come off? You see the same thing on the Chariot. It's flares of fire that was coming from the side of it.
And what's that thing you use? You said X-ray photography?
Yeah, I got that footage on there where you can see the X-ray thing as well.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You just let it play out.
Yeah.
Changing colors.
It's moving too. I'm holding the camera in the same spot, but on my
So that's
on
it
the,
on that one.
on the
Get
phone
the
is
other one.
moving.
You can turn the volume down. I sent this from the captain, so turn it down. I don't know how excited I got. All right.
Hey, you could turn the volume up. That shows how more real it is.
See right here. Whenever I pause it, I did another frame zoomed in. I'm trying to catch it, but it gets too blurry. You see in the middle, it's like freaking, I think it's fire because it's red, and you see like a glare that you would see from heat, like heat glare, solar glares from the sun. You see it on the outside. I can see it, you can't really see it. I don't think you see it from the camera. And then it does this. Right there. I don't know if you'll be able to see that flip, but I'm looking at it right now and I can see.
Y'all see it?
Angle.
I was trying to make it to where you can see it on the phone. Y'all know how the phone is sometimes.
Then it goes back this.
You got it?
Yeah. And then you see that glare. You see look like a flare.
Damn.
And then just go to the last one real quick, the X-ray. So I dropped the X-ray. I put an X-ray filter. I put a green filter. I put all different kind of filters just to see how clear I can see the image. Just literally just the same footage. I just put an X-ray type filter, and it's heat pulsating. So that's real footage from my phone. You know what I'm saying? If y'all don't believe after that, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, we don't know what to tell you. Get the hell out. That's
you-
it.
you
Give the
wanna-
Lord a hand, damn it.
Yeah.
Give the Lord a hand.
Hey,
Up close and impersonal. Praying and fasting. All praises to the Most High, brothers. We got to believe, man. Faith, patience, salvation. The what? Faith, patience, salvation. Faith, patience, salvation. That's what it's about. All praises to the Most High, man. All praises to the Most High. We're going to close it out on that while we pray for the downfall of Esau's destruction. All right? Shalom.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road. Purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.